example?
I pay, yes, Excel, Black Hills.
So you pay gas and electric. How about water? Could that, 110
water.
would, say again?
Yep, I pay water as well. I pay that separately. I pay the trash, everything.
So when you ask these guys at Boardwalk, what do they say? When you say, what is this for?
One of the guys, the guy that I was dealing with from the beginning, he told me that he would explain them to me when he served me demand to pay papers.
Well, what does that mean, demand to pay? How far back are you on these bills?
Oh, they go back all the way to November of 24, and they take them off, then they put them back on. I've filed complaints with the Better Business Bureau, the the Attorney General. Let's see, who else did I filed complaints with everybody that I know.
Have you talked to the Public Housing Authority?
Yes, I have. Yep, I deal with them because I'm on Section 8.
I understand. Well, it's actually HCV now, but I get you. Yeah. Do you have a copy of your original lease that you could send over?
Do. Yes, I do.
Do you have it in a PDF format?
I do. I believe. Yep, I do.
Yeah, let me put you on hold. Here's what I'd like to do. Kelly's going to give you an email. I want you to send it over. And Kelly, send it over to me, of course, and then send it over to Brad O'Brien. I want him to eyeball it and see what it says about utilities. How about trash? Is it, once again, $110 a month would be insane for trash, but do you pay for trash at the house?
I sure do. I pay that every
So honestly, there's nothing you don't pay for that you can think of.
That's right. Absolutely not. I even pay. They charge me admin fees for renter's insurance that they say.
I wonder if they're trying to get you out of there. Do you think they're trying to get you out of there, or what do you think's going on?
I don't know. I don't think so because the paper I received 3 demands to pay papers.
Yeah,
they're phony. There's no court signature.
Well, it doesn't. I don't know if it's a demand letter. It doesn't necessarily mean it's phony. But do me a favor. I want you to send that over right away, and I also want you to send. If you got to take a picture of it, that's fine. But send me a picture of one of the notices, and then something that has a line item on it, that $110 for utilities, okay?
I sure will.
All right, hold on. Kelly's going to tell you where to go. 303-713-8255. The landlord calls are just getting absolutely insane. Here's the deal, folks. If you got a bad landlord, we can help you. Here's the bottom line, and I mean this. If you're paying your rent on time, it's pretty hard to kick out a tenant in Colorado now. Now, other states, not as hard. But in Colorado, you've got to have a hell of a good reason. And the numero uno is non-payment. But this particular person, Tiffany, this sounds crazy. I'm going to eyeball these notices and see what the hell's going on. Because if she's literally telling me the truth and paying every utility, I couldn't think of anything else. You got trash, you got water, you got gas, you got electric. I wonder, she probably just has a cell phone, but my goodness, something is going on here, and we're going to get our attorney involved if needed, because I'm sick and tired of these people just screwing with people. And I'll tell you what, generally it is. They want to get it out and probably switch it off of Section 8, or actually it's HCV now, which is Housing Choice Voucher, and that's a program, and it's run by the Public Housing Authority right here in Colorado for low-income families. So here's the deal. 303-713-8255. Hold tight. Bastards.
Is it really getting worse?
What do we got here? Tenant. Beautiful entry doors, sliders, siding, and then, of course, windows. K&H Home Solutions. These guys have been around since 1956. That's 69 years ago. They have the quality and the craftsmanship to make your house look brand new. Maybe it's time for siding. You've been putting it off. Or how about new Alpine windows? They're one of the best resellers of Alpine windows. These are windows made right here in Colorado for Colorado homes, custom crafted, and they're super insulating. You got to check them out. But check out everything K&H has. You're going to love the company. You're going to love the value. You're going to love the product. 303-421-7100, 303-421-7100, or khwindows.com. The Art of Granite. I love Mitch Floria. This guy came over to the United States about 30 years ago, worked his butt off, became a citizen, is married with children now, and he can fabricate countertops better than anybody I know. In fact, that's what he charges for, is the installation and fabrication. He doesn't even mark up the granite or the quartz or whatever you want. If you want the most beautiful countertops installed to perfection, I want you to call him. And right now, if you get the kitchen done, you get the bathroom for free. Suzanne and I have used Mitch 4 different times, 4 areas in our house. I promise you, you're going to love everything they do. They even give quotes over the phone. TheArtOfGranite.com. You're welcome.
Mark Shemansky's guys are here.
Oh, would you go let him in?
I've already dealt with it.
And then Jess said she'd get him a badge.
Oh.
But go see if you can talk to her. Just tell her he's going to have flooring guys, fabricators like these guys who are doing all the measurement.
Pardon me. He told me he needed 5 minutes per bathroom. So I was like, just text me when you're ready for the next bathroom.
No, what I'm saying is he's going to be sending in 5 different contractors over the next couple weeks.
Okay, yeah.
So maybe we bury a badge downstairs somewhere and people just, Mark can tell them where it is. I don't know how to do it, but I mean, in the middle of the show.
First, and then I'll work with Mark on how to
Yeah,
get it to the guys.
perfect.
What are you guys getting done?
One of my contractors is doing all the bathrooms here on the 3rd and 4th floor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they put them off. If you've been in the bathrooms on the 1st floor, they've all been redone like years ago, COVID time. And then for whatever reason, they didn't do the ones up here. And now they're getting them done. They got big wigs flying in, so you want to get right to it? Hey, Shannon, is the CEO coming in, or who's coming in? Do you know?
About what? Who? What?
On the 15th or 21st of July, there's some bigwigs coming in. I have no idea who they are. Do you?
That sucks.
Yeah. They said something about they got to get a look at this Shannon character.
I just don't. They're going to want to clean shit, and that's stupid. No offense.
Hopefully it's not a bloodbath.
No, it usually isn't. You know, the bosses don't want to be associated with that sort of stuff, so there wouldn't be. But the cleaning kills me. Like, you know, we're very successful as a market.
Yeah.
I think that we're usually like number 7 or number 8 for earning, even though we are market 19.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, you got Jess,
And
right?
it was, I can't remember, there was somebody was coming through. It might have been Pittman, I don't know. And they tore down a bunch of posters and things and made people clean their desks. And I was like, if Pittman doesn't understand that it's a successful market for some reason that might include a hang in there baby poster, then he's not worth being in charge of the company. Quit tearing down people's stuff if we're successful.
Yeah.
If we suck, then blow it up. But otherwise, Gannon, can you put away the world's greatest dad trophy? Thank you.
And then you said yesterday when you called, they just kept transferring.
My response was, can you nibble my Wraith? And I don't mean Daphne.
Has it been passed around? Because they asked about him this morning.
What's your blood pressure?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Usually like, we don't know. Usually like 180 over 90
Oh,
or something.
bullshit.
What do you mean?
Yeah, no way it's that high.
Oh, no. It's probably worse than that.
You're serious. How come you don't take some meds, man?
For what? What? I enjoy The feeling.
I don't believe yours is that high.
I'll bring in a meter tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
My whoop
What do I
measures
win?
mine.
What do I win if I can ring the bell?
If you're averaging like, well, the 90's not horrible, but the 180's are just ridiculous. And 90 is
The
high.
last time I went to the doctor, it scared them. It usually does. All right, coming back.
All right, 303-713-8255. Kelly, did she send that lease yet? I did not see it in my email. Let me know when that comes through, please. So, Tiffany, hold tight. I want to get that over to our attorney, Brad O'Brien, so he can eyeball it. I want to eyeball it. Then we're going to go from there. 303-713-8255. We got a couple lines open. You got a bad contractor you want to tell us about. I'd love to hear about it. We love recovering money for you. In fact, to the tune of over $300 million in cash, merchandise exchanges, refunds directly due to this show for over 45 years. By the way, the longest running show with the same host in the entire country. Trisha, what is going on with you, Trisha?
Well, I ended up getting the estimates, and it's just under $2,000.
You're going to have to catch me up big time. What were you getting an estimate for, and whom did you get it from?
So I went to Car Toys to get a new stereo, and they didn't latch my hood properly.
Oh,
And going about 65 miles an hour on 36, it flew open.
now wait a second. What kind of car is this?
It's a 2002 Hyundai XG350.
Now, this is going to sound crazy, but most cars, you basically pull a lever and it comes up a little bit. Then you have to manually move over basically a metal buckle in order for it to come up the rest of the way. When you say they didn't latch it properly, did they not close it all the way, or what happened?
I'm not sure because they will not show me the footage of them opening my hood to unhook the battery to install my radio.
I'm still a little lost here. How do you know they have footage?
Well, I called them several times to ask and see what happened, basically.
Well, let's talk about that. That's what I want to know. What happened with you? So whatever they did, we don't know. But you went, you picked up the car. I assume you paid for the stereo. And then what happened?
I don't know because I'm not sure what they did.
No, Trisha, you're missing me. Like you were driving down the road and your hood flew open and hit the top of your car and broke the windshield and you got into a car wreck and killed 4 people. What happened?
No, it didn't break my windshield. On the highway, it flew open and I immediately got over to the left side of the highway.
Got it.
Well, that's scary.
It's terrifying. I've been there. I've done that.
Literally.
Yep, I've done it. I was at 70 miles an hour on C470, and I thought I was pulling the emergency brake to let up on the pedal on an old Thunderbird, and I pulled the hood, and the secondary latch failed, and basically that hood flew open and just scared the hell out of me. So what damage are you seeking? It didn't break your windshield. How much damage did it do?
Currently my hood is bent in half.
Wow.
And I have a giant dent in the roof of my car, which that I'm not worried about. It's the hood itself that I'm worried about.
Did you get it to, wow, why wouldn't you be worried about a huge dent?
Mark, I came in late, but why does she think this is Car Toys' fault? I missed that part.
Because she picked up her car from Car Toys after they were messing with the battery in her car. So they had the hood open.
All right.
What is Car Toys saying, Trisha?
They're saying they never opened my hood at all.
They're saying they never opened it.
Yes.
How do you know they had to tap into the battery?
Unless you want to get electrocuted when you're working on electrical work, you have to unhook the battery or unhook the fuse.
Yeah, I
We should
don't.
confirm that with Sheridan Auto Tech since he does electric.
Yeah, let's get Uncle Kevin on, Kelly. Trisha, did you bring it to a body shop? Has anybody looked at it and said what the failure point was?
I did bring it to a body shop, and they didn't tell me what the failure point was. They just told me how much it would be to fix it, basically.
Here's where I'm getting a little stuck on this. So if I come out and I help you jumpstart your car because it died in a Walmart parking lot or at the Pepsi Center or whatever it's called these days, if anybody helps you, a tow truck driver, an auto shop, someone comes out and they simply pop your hood, jumpstart you, then close your hood and you drive down the road and the hood flies open, I don't think it would be their fault. Now, if Car Toys went over there and somehow bent or moved or did something to create the issue, I would find them liable on that. But why do you think they're liable if, I mean, when you picked it up, was the hood closed? Or are you saying they left it wide open or what?
They didn't leave it wide open. I'm not sure because I didn't think to check it after I picked it up.
But it appeared closed to you. I mean, you're driving, you're looking out the windshield, it looks normal.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what they could have done. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What kind of vehicle was it again?
It was a 2002 Hyundai XC350.
2000. Say it again. I'm sorry. 2000 what?
2002
Yep.
Hyundai XC350.
I don't know what that is. What kind of vehicle is it?
It's a sedan.
It's a sedan. Well, I'm just not used to that.
Yeah, it's a smaller car.
Yeah. So when you talk to them now, they're basically saying we didn't do anything, period. Have you thought about just bringing them to some small claims court?
I have, but I called you before and you said that you would talk to them before I would bring them to small claims court.
Who did we assign to it? Do you remember? Suzanne, can you pull it up in our notes?
I'm looking now.
Well, then what were we supposed to do on it, I guess? Let's do this. Yeah.
And she followed it, and now she's calling back for a follow-up.
And that advice was what? Go out and figure out how much to fix it?
Well, he advised her to call Car Toys.
Yeah.
And try to work it out.
And none of that's happening,
and
yeah.
None of it is happening.
All right,
so
hold tight.
We're going to sign it.
Let's see if we can't get Uncle Kevin on. I just want to verify a few things on that vehicle. Trisha, hold on. And real quick, what location is it?
It's Denver location off of Broadway.
Off of Broadway. Okay, hold on a sec. All right, 303-713-8255. We got a few lines open. Love to hear from you. 303 Martino.
This is Denver's talk station with Michael Brown in the morning and Dan Kaplis in the afternoon. 630 KHOW, Denver.
Hail, 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 hail to hail. XL Roofing, that's who I would use. Let me tell you why I personally have used them. One, you don't pay a cent until you're content. Two, they'll work with your insurance company to make sure you get every penny that is owed to you in that claim. These guys are experts at working with insurance companies, and they're one of the largest roofers in the state. But once again, never deal with a door knocker, never pay a roofer up front. Call Excel Roofing and call them before you call your insurance company. You don't want that on your clue report, which can hurt you going forward when it comes to rates if you don't have damage. These guys are honest. They'll come out and tell you what's going on with your roof. XLRoofing.com. Sheridan Auto Tech, Uncle Kevin. In fact, we'll be talking to him soon right here during the show today. He's one of our experts. And man, this guy lives and breathes automotive repairs. Whether it's an oil change, a complete engine replacement, a transmission, an alternator, a brake job, a radiator flush, an AC service, you name it, they do it. And they have a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on everything they touch. Check them out at SheridanAutotech.com. Nolo. Yeah, I don't know what car toys could possibly do to that latch to mess it up. That's the part that's sticking with me.
And when I sat down, and started listening, I thought she sounded a little combative. As far as with car toys. Well, show me the video.
Yeah. It'd be shocking if they didn't open the hood, but maybe they don't. I don't know if they do or not, honestly.
And it's a 25-year-old car.
Yeah.
I mean,
23.
Good God.
Did she say it was a Hyundai or a Honda?
I thought she said Hyundai.
Yes.
A 2002 Hyundai EX something.
350. I just never heard.
That would scare the shit out.
Yeah, there it is. I had never heard of it.
On 6th or wherever, and the car hood went up.
Oh, it scared the hell out of me.
I would cry.
His mother's car.
Then, so I pulled into the left just like she did, so I'm on the inside of C470.
Yeah.
Cars whizzing by. I get out, I take my T-shirt off, and I use my T-shirt to tie it down just so I can get the hell off the highway.
Yeah.
And I start driving down, and the T-shirt ripped, and the fucking hood came back up and did the exact same thing.
I never knew that.
It was just horrible.
Life lesson.
But it should have never have done that. That secondary latch is supposed to catch for that exact reason.
Right. Oh, yeah. Because I have done that before where I've hit, instead of the emergency brake, I've hit the... But it's that secondary latch that stopped it, Yeah.
I have never heard of this before. The XG stood for extra grand door.
It's XG, not EX.
XG. XG 350. I have never heard of that Hyundai ever.
Look at that. It knows what I'm thinking, I swear. It must be a discontinued.
It was positioned above the Accent, Elantra, and Sonata. So basically, ultimately, what I'm guessing is that became the Genesis.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Grand Door.
Yeah, that's Cody. So we've sent certified letters to them because we have to run an inspection and they won't let us on their property to run the inspection. And it's because she has kidney issues, so they're just in and out of the hospital. So they just haven't responded to us in 3 months. Nothing bad's happened, but they definitely still have to pay their bill. Until we can run an inspection, we can't do anything for them.
Husky Solutions says you
just
don't
let her
have
know
to
that
disconnect
Pamela-
the battery to change the radio.
Hey, my name's
All
Annie. I'm
plug and
taking
play.
over for Pamela. You do need to pay the light bill, and we do
I don't know,
need to
even if
have
they
access to the
did,
property
there's nothing they could
to run an
possibly
inspection
do
and
unless
a few
they
other
were
things so
trying
we
to
can
do
get your
something.
system up and running. Yeah.
And
And then just tell her, we hope that you're feeling better. Yeah. She had some some hereditary kidney disease, so her husband is actually trying to donate his kidney to her. Yeah.
We
They're
lost
super
that
nice.
Douglas County thing by a landslide. We lost.
Oh, really?
But when I
Oh,
checked
no.
last night, it was 73% no.
Wow. That's
I
crazy.
wanted to go through, and I heard a little bit about it, but not a lot. I didn't understand that.
I forgot totally about that. All right, 303-713-8255. 303 Martino. By the way, this hour brought to you by Water Pros. WaterPros.net. Here's what I love about Paul. He sells the best equipment for less money. That is the best way to say it. He's got a water system right now that not only softens the water for the entire house, it gets rid of the chlorine for the entire house, and gets rid of forever chemicals for the entire house. Protect your family. Get it done. They'll come out, do a free water test as well, and they're not going to sit there and twist your arm. They're not high-strung like some of their competition. But their price for that is $3,700. You realize the competition could be over $10,000. $1,000 for a unit that does all of that. Just getting rid of the forever chemicals is enough for me. I love every bit of that. And if you don't know what they are, just Google them. In fact, they don't even want you eating the fish, I believe, in Cherry Creek Reservoir now because of contamination. Here's the bottom line, though. Waterpros.net, the best for less. Waterpros.net. Now, Uncle Kevin Calkin, Sheridan Auto Tech. Hey, man, how are you doing today, Kevin?
Hey, Mark. What's going on?
Hey, are you coming in Friday, by the way?
Yeah, I am.
We missed you last Friday. What were you playing hooky for, bro?
One of my guys had wisdom teeth out and just figured he needed a 3-day week.
Ah, come on, wisdom teeth. Get them out at 8 a.m. You're at work by 9, right?
I told a little Tylenol. Just, come on.
Yeah, aspirin. Hey, this one's a little crazy. First of all, I had to look this car up. You know, I'm a Hyundai fan. I have never heard of this Hyundai. It was called
An XG350, Kevin.
And what did it stand for? Extra Grandeur. And it was made in 2002. I think eventually it became the Genesis line because according to Hyundai's website, it was over the Elantra and the Sonata. It was like their primo vehicle back in the early 2000s. But she brings it to Car Toys. Have you heard of that before, by the way?
The XG350? No, that's a new one for me, too.
I've never heard of it. Never heard of it. Anyhow, though, here's the deal. She brings it to Car Toys. So I got a few questions here. One, she gets a new radio installed. Typically, would you have to mess with the battery or go under the hood?
Well, a lot of times you want to disconnect the battery if you're doing electrical work. Yeah, so it is possible, yes.
Yeah, fair enough. We've had some people on YouTube say that they're all just plug and play on that one, but I know nothing about that vehicle. But I would guess if you're working on any kind of electronics, camera systems, dash cams, radio, anything like that, you probably would unhook the battery. But here's where the baffling part. Yeah. So she picks it up and hops in it, pays for the radio, starts driving down the road, and everything seems fine when she picks it up. And this has nothing to do with the radio. All of a sudden, the hood flies open, smacks the top of her car, and basically bends the hood in half and puts a dent on the top of her car. So a couple things come to mind. This actually happened to me years ago. In fact, I was probably 25 years old, C470. I thought the brake light was on my mom's car, of all cars. It was an old Thunderbird, like a 2000 Thunderbird. So the brake light was on, and I was used to my car where if I barely hit that brake pedal, I'd just pull the lever, and sure enough, the brake light would go off. So I reached down where my lever was, pulled that lever, it unlatched the hood. Yeah, I know. It scared the living out of me. So, but what ultimately happened in my case is that secondary failed. Because generally, if you pull that lever, it's still not going to fly open. They do that on purpose. But on mine, it failed for whatever reason. So can you think of anything, and I can't, that Car Toys could have done, even if they unhooked the battery, even if they were under the hood in the fuse box, no matter what, if they were under the hood, what could they have possibly have done to break a hood to where it would do that? They say they've never even opened the hood. But what do you make of it?
Yeah, that's a tough one, but those safeties are all well and good, but they're not fail safe. They're very, very light. They can fail very easily, especially in an older car. You just never know if it's not lined up right or something, but they'd have to go out of their way to move it or bend it. Just opening and closing the hood. Well, okay, she might as well have brought it to you guys for an oil change, and you pop the hood, you put oil in it, you close the hood, and this could have happened, and she'd be blaming you. Yes, no, absolutely. And that's why we always double check hoods. That's our checklist before the car leaves, because they do miss. Sometimes you think you got it closed and it's not closed all the way. So I wonder how you would possibly, and she's brought it to the body shop and they tell her how much to fix it, but they have no idea what happened, why it happened. Let me ask her that real quick. Hey, they did tell you at the body shop, they can't determine was the latch broke or what was going on, right?
I think if I remember correctly, they said the latch was broken and that I would need a new one.
It would be so hard for these guys to break that latch. Tricia. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. I mean, maybe they put something and then went to close it and that something was in the way and it broke or moved. I mean, anything could happen.
You can have a fender cover in the way and you didn't see it, a rag. I mean, anything could get in there. So
yeah,
but
and then
you're talking, what, 5-10 minutes after you left the car?
Yeah, Tricia, how long and where were you? How fast were you going?
I think it was maybe about 10-15 minutes, and I was on Highway 36 going about 65 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Hey, when's the last time your hood was open prior to Car Toys? Like, when's the last time you got an oil change or windshield washer fluid, whatever?
I think I had actually just put oil in it not too long before.
Yeah, what I would do, I mean, so Kevin, you said something I didn't think about. Even a rag or something, if they used a rag to undo one of the negative battery cable, they could have put that rag down. Then when they shut the hood, that made it so that latch didn't grab, but yet it appeared closed.
Sure.
Okay.
A lot of things.
Yeah, that could have happened, Tricia.
Close to coincidence. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, do you agree with that, Kevin? It is kind of a weird coincidence.
It is. I mean, 2-3 days later, no chance. 10 minutes after? That's too close.
Too close. And they won't show her the video. We don't know for a fact there is video, but they're claiming they didn't even open the hood. But I agree with her. I would think Car Toys generally would do that. You know what I'd like to do? Hey, let me get you done so you can get back to work, Kevin. But Kevin Calkins, Sheridan Autotech, I talk about this guy all the time. His shop is wonderful. When it comes to electrical issues, he's simply the best out there. He's got the best guys to dig in and figure out where that draw is coming from, figure out anything electrical. But other than that, of course, he does anything that has to do with maintenance or repair on a car. And the warranty's fabulous. 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide with the Napa Auto Care program. So if you need someone to maintain or repair your car, go to someone we trust big time. SheridanAutotech.com. SheridanAutotech.com. Hey, Tricia, here's what I want to do. I've got some ideas for you, and I'm going to tell you what's going on right after this. Hold on. 303-713-TALK.
She's saying that, but tell her that we can put her on the
Hey, try to help Brad figure out whatever question he has here before
I'm
we
doing
get him
that.
back on.
I'm doing that. Just say, leave a
I didn't hear the call because I was helping Mark Shemansky.
She pays all the utilities directly. Hold on, I got to do this.
Okay.
She pays utilities directly for everybody, electric, gas, everything. And they're trying to charge her for it. Vestera Properties. Let me tell you what Barry does. He makes anybody a great landlord. Here's how he does it. He knows how to find the right property across the entire country that's actually going to appreciate and make you money. That right there is worth a fortune. You realize he only charges $400 a year, but I'm going to kind of go over that in a minute. But second thing, check this out. He hires the right people to manage it so you don't get deadbeats in there. You collect the rent, you get the cash flow, the house is appreciating. Then a year or two later, when it's up 20, 30, 40%, he finds the right realtor and his team to sell it and make you the money. You own the house, no one else does. It's all you. You're going to love being a landlord when you do it with these guys. He's also teamed up with Tom Martino so you can use retirement money for this. So here is the deal. VesteraTurnkey.com. That's VesteraTurnkey.com. I love Chris and the guys at Discount Bath. I'll tell you why. Quality remodels at a discount price, and the pricing is transparent. It's all up front. They come out to your house, or you can actually send them a short video. You can go to discountbath.com and upload it, but here's the deal. They'll come out. They'll give you ideas. Maybe you just want a tub-to-shower conversion. Maybe you want the entire bathroom redone and the closet expanded. Get rid of the tub altogether and get a larger vanity. These guys can do everything you can imagine. In fact, they have bathrooms starting at under $10,000. Can you believe that? Under $10,000. Quick turnaround, great prices, great materials, great warranty. DiscountBath.com. That is DiscountBath.com. Now, do you suffer from foot pain, neuropathy? Do you have diabetes, or do you have some other kind of issue with your foot and you're sick and tired of it? Denver Regen, the guys there have a new stem cell treatment. Now, it's packed with other stuff. It's not just stem cells. But the bottom line is, if you suffer from neuropathy, these guys have results that'll blow you away. A lot of people within 2 or 3 months, 100% gone, pain-free. The nerve is grown back, and it's perfect. If you're sick and tired of dealing with it, please reach out to these guys. You're going to be so happy with the results, like a lot of listeners. Check them out at denverregen.com. Absolutely no risk. Call them up. Tell them where you're at. It's a one-time 3-hour pain-free procedure, and it works. denverregen.com. denverregen.com. Here's the lease. June's ledger. Did you get access?
Well, I downloaded them and sent them to Brad.
Yeah.
But I guess I should look to see if the downloads worked. Yeah, they work. Do you want me to forward this to you? The links?
I'm looking at one of them here.
Okay, because I have all 4 of them.
We have you done right at done right. Hey, Brooke, with the 30%, with that gone on residential, will it still offset 100% of the bill in some cases? Or now it just won't cover itself like on a typical Highlands Ranch house?
You're just increasing your, like, how long it takes you to get your money back on it. So, like, typically, let's say...
We'll talk about it on here, but you're still going to pay for it.
Yeah, so a normal system is $24,000. You get $7,600 back off of that. So instead, just run the math, right? So that's what you're losing out on.
And how long does it typically, run the math, how long it typically pays that lease off compared to without that $7,000, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if it's a...
And so is it still offsetting the same amount of power, of course?
It would be, yeah.
Because the system's the same size.
The system's the same size, it's just that your cost goes up significantly.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. So you're probably looking at it taking 15 years to pay off or be worth it, so be your break-even point. And there's not a lot of things that you do that are worth it at that point.
Yeah.
And that's an Excel.
And most people don't even live in their house that long.
And that's an Excel land. If it's core or someplace else where they don't charge that much for power.
How much does it add to a house like that, a $24,000 system or nothing?
For your equity?
Yeah, for resale.
I think there's a lot of debate up to it. It depends on where you're at. And what
Depends who your buyer
company is. Yes. If you're in Excel land, though, that system should add at least $12,000 to the house. Like,
hey,
that's
Kelly.
Very conservative. Usually,
You can get Brad and Tiffany on.
We'll do it after the...
Oh, I'll tell them we'll call them after the top of the hour. So hang tight. Sorry, Brooke.
Oh, you're fine. So 12 would be a really conservative estimate. 18,000 is more realistic. So a $24,000 system would give you about 18,000 in equity.
All right, 303-713-8255. What do? You bring your car to Car Toys and you have a new stereo installed. Then you're driving down the road after you pick it up, pay for it. 10 minutes later, hood flies open, smacks the top of your car, bends the hood in half, does damage on the top. Trisha, how much was the body shop's estimate total to fix it?
It was just under $2,000. I believe it was like $1,800 plus some.
And that includes the actual roof, too?
No, that does not include the roof. I'm not worried about the roof.
Okay, here's what I would do. We're going to do this in twofold. I'm going to put you with Deputy Dimitri. So, Suzanne, make sure he gets all the information. Tricia, we're going to have him reach out to you. He's going to call and talk to Car Toys first. If they're not going to play ball, because I do find it a little strange that this happened afterwards, and Kevin really put a bug in my brain about leaving a rag there or anything that can block that latch so you think the hood is closed. At first I was like, yeah, I don't know how that could happen. But now I can see, plus you said you had an oil change or added oil not long before that, and of course it didn't pop up on the highway. So if Dimitri cannot get through to them to do something, and the fact you're not asking to get that hood replaced, I find the roof replaced or the roof fixed, I think that's great. So $1,800 or at least something to get it fixed for you. So he's going to try that first. If that doesn't work, Deputy D has been to small claims court almost as much as me. Now, he's not an attorney and he's not going to give you legal advice, but he's going to tell you where to get the documents, where to file it, and it's only going to cost you $50. And I would think a company the size of Car Toys would probably go ahead and settle before you even had to show up to court. But if you did have to show up to court, I think you have a chance of winning. Not a great chance, but I do think you've got a 40-50% chance of winning. And, you know, it's only a $50 crapshoot at that point. So they might pay you before court because of the size of the company and how much time it would take to hire an attorney and show up to small claims court. But, Tricia, that is the next step, okay?
Okay.
So Dimitri will be reaching out to you. Suzanne's going to get him all your information. In fact, Kelly, pick up, make sure we have everything. And during the break, I was talking to Brooke with Red Rock Solar. We were talking at the beginning of the show. She said, if the big, beautiful bill goes by or it passes, we are not going to have the 30% tax credit on residential. Now, we're going to be diving in to the commercial stuff she does, and you're going to be shocked. There's systems. There is systems out there. You can build these solar farms for free, and we're going to be talking about that. But I want to go back to this real quick, Brooke. That 30% on residential is huge. If you said the average system is $24,000.
Yeah.
So, and really that's not 24, it's 18,000 or no, 17,000.
Yeah, just a little under 17.
And you would typically pay that off on a lease in how many years?
I mean, it really just depends. Most folks finance with Renew for 20 years.
For 20 years. Mm-hmm. So, but if you get rid of that 7,000, that could be 30 years or 25 years or a much higher payment.
Well, it definitely a much higher payment. The 20-year term would still last. The difference is that let's say you have Excel and your average bill with Excel is $100 a month.
Yeah.
By doing that 30%, we can usually get you down to like $70 a month instead. So you're saving money right away, regardless if you finance it.
With the credit.
When the credit goes away, then that's going to increase significantly.
So it's going to affect a lot of solar companies that do nothing but residential.
Oh, it'll decimate them. They'll go away.
They'll go away, and that is kind of good for you because you guys got an entire repair division.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can work on any type of solar system.
Yeah, we definitely can. Mm-hmm.
What are the worst ones out there? If you had to say, okay, this brand, and I don't want you to get in trouble or have issues. I know you have rapport with these companies, but is there any brands that are harder to deal with, any manufacturers? I mean, I know we're dealing with a, what is that called?
Fortress?
Yeah, with Fortress. Are they generally good, or are they a pain in the ass, or what?
We just started working with them as a recommendation to replace Tesla, and it's still having its own hiccups.
All right, here's the deal. 303-713-8255. You've been ripped off, taken advantage of. Any solar questions, we want to hear from you. 303 Martino. We'll be back right after this quick message. Blah, 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 blah.
So losing that 30% takes that monthly payment for the solar system from $151 to $216.
Say that again.
$151 to 216. So
Wow.
yeah, so it's
That's
significant.
massive.
That's what I mean. It's if that tax credit goes away, the only people that are going to do it are the
Tree huggers.
Exactly. Yep, just you environmental folks. Do you see how I did that? So you just take, your loan calculator, 20 years, 9%, and then you find your monthly payments. And then you're just looking at the differences. So even though it doesn't sound like a big difference, because you're like, oh, it should just be like a third more, right? It's all the interest that's tacked onto it too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, nobody's going to do it. So Boulder has their grant program, and then Excel has their low income program. So those would be the only people that are safe. Those programs are going to be probably really overutilized starting next year with this going away. Let's go to I'll show you how we do no, did you just duplicate on accident? Oh my gosh. What happened? Why can't I search? Oh, here you go. What did you name the dental one? Did you name it John?
Yeah, it's under Tom Martino. I think that's the one I have some duplicate.
Oh, wow, they got blown out. Yeah. I wonder if they're charging her for like mowing the lawn and stuff on this.
Is that the Brad O'Brien call?
Yeah. Because I don't see. Miles west to the tree farm.
Whoever came up with that jingle killed it.
He's the guy that wrote our
jingle.
our intro song getting ready to play.
Oh,
He's
yeah?
the rock and roll brewery guy, if you've ever heard of him on our shows.
Steve Moss. I'm into it. Every time.
That's what he does. That's how he really makes money.
Yeah.
Although he made almost nothing.
Bad news. You need advice.
Really?
You don't have to
Those things he keeps the license.
come running just as fast as we can. Troubleshooter's
He wrote
gonna
it
help.
like 30 years ago.
Come
He just sold it.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
Welcome, my friends, to the only show of its kind. We're here to solve problems, answer questions, take complaints. Our goal in life is to make your life just a little bit better. 303-713-8255. That is a phone number you've been ripped off or taken advantage of. We've got 3 lines open right now. 303-713-8255. We love sinking our teeth into problems. We love helping people left and right. By the way, this hour is brought to you by Frank Duran, the real estate man. You know, Frank sells more homes in 1 month than most realtors in the entire state of Colorado sell in a year. In fact, I'd go further than that. He probably sells more in a month than most do in 14 or 15 months. It's remarkable how many closings he has, and he sells them for more money. So he gets you more money, and he sells them quicker. You're not going to go wrong, and he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. A negotiator beyond negotiating. The guy helped us so much. When he sold our house in Castle Rock, it was phenomenal. And then he negotiated the price down of our new house out in Franktown. I couldn't ask for a better realtor or a better friend. FrankDuranHomes.com. That's FrankDuranHomes.com. Now, Brad O'Brien is an attorney, and he is our expert when it comes to anything property. It doesn't matter if it's residential or commercial. Doesn't matter if it's a purchase or a lease or anything to do with property. That's all he does. He lives and breathes it. So I'm going to bring Brad up. Hey, Brad, I appreciate you coming on. How's your day going, man?
Doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. This one is a little interesting. I've been kind of buzzing or looking through the lease as well over the break. But Tiffany called up. She's been renting a house. How many years have you been in that house, Tiffany?
3 years.
So she's been in there, and it looks like it renewed in 2024. What was it, around August, whatever it was? She re-signed for another year. Is that right, Tiffany?
Well, I didn't re-sign nothing. I didn't get a lease from the new people. I haven't got nothing.
Well, hold on. How about the lease that you just sent me from the people before?
That's from Progressive Property.
Yeah, what year was that, though? Wasn't that last year?
Yes, that was for yes,
Yeah, and what were the dates on there?
The lease,
May 22nd, it looks like.
Yeah. They said it ends July 17th is my last day, is when the lease ends. They told.
Yeah, so you're still under that lease. You understand, and Brad, please jump in if I'm wrong, but I don't care if it changed management companies or ownership. When you're renting your house out and there's a lease in place, whoever purchases it or takes over still has to abide by the lease, right?
That's true. A buyer of a leased property takes it subject to that lease.
Yeah, and here's the deal, Tiffany. In order for them to get rid of you, it'd be pretty hard unless if a couple things happen. So you're still under a 1-year lease that we looked at least that's what I believe it was.
Correct.
Yeah, so you're still under that lease, and then you should be able to renew come July 17th or whatever days on that lease. But what's happening, Brad, is they're trying to charge her $110. Is it every month?
Every month, and also renter's income, something renter's income or something. They're charging me as well.
I don't know what the renter's income is, but
it's in with that ledger that I sent you. You'll see all the different.
Well, how do they define it for people listening now? What does it mean?
I have no clue.
And how much are they charging you for that?
They're different amounts. This one, let's see here, renters income.
So it changes every month?
Yeah, well, there's $17 one time, there's $90
Now, are you sure that has nothing to do with HCV or Section 8?
No,
Okay.
it does not.
So Brad, I don't know how much you've looked at the paperwork we've sent over, but here's what Tiffany's telling me. She pays everything. She pays the utilities, she pays the trash, she pays the TV, she pays everything. Gas, electric, water, she pays those utilities directly. They're apparently charging her $110 for reimbursement on the utilities. And Tiffany, have you ever been late on those utilities where it has generated a late fee?
No, I've never been shut
and
off
before,
either.
And hold on, and before it changed management companies, now to Boardwalk, did they ever charge you that stuff before?
No, and I got an email from the lady I dealt with at Progressive Property telling me that she doesn't understand why they're charging me those fees.
Okay, Brad, I'm going to let you jump in at this point because I am baffled. I think it's a squeeze play. I don't know if they want to convert it from an HCV or a Section 8 property or just want more income. I have no idea. But to me, it looks like she's under lease and they're charging her for stuff, the new management company, that the old one didn't. I just flat don't understand.
Well, I haven't reviewed the full stack of documents you just sent over, but
Sure.
I did find a utilities addendum that says that she is supposed to set up utilities directly with the utilities and then pay them directly to the utilities. So I don't think the landlord's supposed to be billing her for those utilities.
I read that too.
And her lease is also good through the middle of July this year.
And on the ledger, it does show they want a reimbursement fee. So it says for utilities.
And what's baffling is the old company that managed it, from the beginning, Tiffany, the last 2 years or whatever?
Correct.
That they never charged her for that, Brad. I mean, what do you just make of this? I mean, do you think it's kind of a shakedown?
It's unclear if they're billing for reimbursement of utilities that the management company says they paid, or if it's some kind of management fee for having to manage the utilities. It is possible for a lease to allow the landlord to get a management fee on utilities, but the lease has to provide for that. I've yet to see that that's even in the lease.
And let's say it did provide for that. Is the fact that they've never done that, the old management company before the new one took over, would that be a reason they are not able to start charging for that?
No, I don't. Well, that's a waiver argument, but I don't. I think that if it's in the lease that says the management company can get a management fee for utilities, then they can start that up even if they haven't been doing it. But first of all, I'm not sure the lease even has that. And $90 to $110 a month for management of utilities seems really excessive. I would expect maybe $10.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Tiffany, is all that stuff in your name? In other words, when you pay your electric, is it in Tiffany's name?
That's right, and I've sent them copies of my bills showing that they're paid and that they're in my name.
I don't even know what they'd be managing, Brad. If everything's literally in her name and she pays them, if that was in the lease, and like you said, you don't see it, I don't even know how you would make that argument.
Agreed.
So what do you think she should do at this point? Are they threatening to kick you out? What are they telling you now, Tiffany?
Well, I sent over they don't tell me anything.
They won't renew her unless she brings the account up to speed. So right now they're charging her $90 for about 4 or 5 months they want her to pay. That was short on the rent, which is this fee,
but
apparently.
You've never been literally short on the rent itself, ever.
Never. But the thing is I haven't been able to pay the rent because I sent over copies of that out as well. When you go online to pay the rent, you can't just pay what you want to pay. It's either the full balance or nothing.
Wait. Tiffany, you're scaring the hell out of me now. When's the last time you paid the rent? Have you paid June's rent?
No, I haven't because it doesn't allow me to. And I've emailed them, I've talked to them.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I get it. I get what you're saying, but you have all that money to pay it right now.
Correct, I sure do.
Okay, Brad.
So at this point, they cannot evict her for non-payment of utilities or for some utility management fee because a landlord could only evict for non-payment of rent. The rent is the charge that is due solely for the occupancy of the premises. So you cannot include you cannot tack on utilities.
Pet fees.
To the rent and then evict over unpaid utilities.
Well,
So-
Brad, what happens in her case, though, when is the last full month you've paid, Tiffany?
The last full month was in January.
Oh, crap. This is how okay, hold on. I just want Brad to talk here. Brad, she's saying she logs onto the portal to pay. If she doesn't pay the full amount, which includes things that apparently she doesn't owe, or at least in her opinion. So what happens if they won't accept what the rent is? Let's say the rent's $1,000, but they want $1,091, and she has no ability to pay online like she has for 2 years without paying the full amount. What kind of argument is that in front of a judge if these people try to go through an eviction because she hasn't paid her damn rent since January?
Well, I think that's a good tolerable argument in front of a judge that. I've seen these website portals from management companies that will not let you pay anything short of the full payment, including all these fees they want to tack on. So it's a good argument in front of a judge that I at least tried to pay the base rent that was due. Maybe I couldn't pay the utilities that were due. So you can't evict for non-payment of utilities if that's all that's outstanding.
And then she could go and here's the money right now and basically, hand them a check or hand them whatever they need.
Absolutely. A tenant has a right to cure a to avoid eviction and cure that non-payment default up until the moment the judge enters an order of possession. So that.
I can't believe these people are doing it. If everything she's saying is correct, this is absolutely nuts. I can't believe they won't even let you pay the rent. Now, Tiffany, we're talking 6, soon to be 7 months of rent. At what, $1,200 a month? What is it?
Well, no, because Section 8 pays their part of it, which is I only pay $90 a month is what I'm to pay. So my portion of it's not paid, the $90 every month.
And you definitely have that money.
Oh, yeah, I definitely have that money. I have it saved.
I cannot believe this, Brad. I can't believe it. I think they're trying to get her out of there.
Yeah. I would like to say that my niece has the same company, and I looked at her ledger, and she is also being charged for utility reimbursement fees.
And she has boardwalk management too?
Yes, she does.
You know what? I want to look into these guys. I want to do a little deep dive into what these jerks are doing. And that's my opinion, they're jerks. But to take Tiffany at her word and looking at the lease that she is still under till January and having an attorney on like Brad O'Brien. Now, granted, he hasn't read through the entire lease, but he by breezing through it, doesn't see anywhere where she should be paying anything to do with utilities. In fact, the opposite. It literally says she's responsible for all the utilities, and they're trying to charge it. And then what's that other thing? Brad, did you happen to see that other thing they're attempting to charge Tiffany for?
Oh, the management fee?
Income.
No.
Rent income.
What the hell is rent income?
That's rent. So.
Oh, that's your $90.
No, these are different amounts.
Well, like how much?
Well, there's one that's for $81.27. There's one for $17.
Wait a second. So, hey, Brad, I've got to ask you in general now. Can a landlord just start making fees up? Can they say, I can't raise your rent more than once a year because we live in Colorado. I can't get rid of you anymore when the lease is up. So, therefore, I'm just going to start charging you fees left and right and not even tell you what they're for. Just give a line item.
All fees have to be in the written lease, and also late fees cannot be assessed on anything other than base rent. So you can't do a late fee on an unpaid utility. And also late fees are limited to the greater of $50 or 5% of the amount that's past due. So
this is insane. Hold on a second. I'm going to put her on hold. Everybody out there, you're listening to Brad O'Brien. Now I'm going to switch the conversation up real quick. Then we'll go back to Tiffany after the break, and I got some great ideas for her. And we're gonna try to reach out. We're gonna put Dimitri on this to reach out to Boardwalk Management and see what the hell they're trying to pull. In fact, Kelly, I want you to pick up on Tiffany or Suzanne. Let's see who her person is at Boardwalk, and let's see if they want to come on the air and talk about this, because there is nothing that I have seen. I think they're shaking her down. That's my opinion. I think they're trying to bully her out of there so it's not Section 8 or to get somebody else in at a higher amount or whatever it happens to be. That's purely my opinion. But looking at her old lease, she never had any of these fees, and all of a sudden these guys take over. They won't even take her actual base rent, but yet they're collecting from Section 8 or HCV every damn month. These guys sound like scumbags to me. I want to know what the hell they're up to at Boardwalk. Now, saying all that, landlords out there, management companies out there, get your leases in order. That is what Brad O'Brien does. If you look at this lease, Brad, I know you haven't looked through the entire agreement, but this stuff has stuff in it like pet fees and other stuff I saw that you simply cannot handle that way anymore. In other words, this lease is not up to Colorado laws when it comes to tenant landlord. And I'm telling you, if you're a landlord out there and you have a lease like this and you try to evict somebody, Brad, it can create all kinds of issues during the hearing, right?
Yeah, the requirements for landlords to have their leases comply with the law are pretty high right now.
It's crazy. People, get your lease reviewed. Call up Brad. And if you have any kind of issues, landlord, tenant, commercial, residential, maybe you're just buying a property. Maybe you're going out to lease your first storefront. You're opening up a restaurant and you've never dealt with CAM charges or a commercial lease. For goodness sake, please call an attorney. And this is a guy we trust, Brad O'Brien. And landlords, I beg of you, we get so many calls from landlords now, so many, it's incredible. They're not getting paid for whatever's in the agreement. They end up in court and their lease is so damn old it doesn't follow the new regulations and it never goes their way. For goodness sake, call Brad O'Brien. 720-370-7388. Property disputes. Two people buying a house together that's not a married couple. Anything. Fence issues. Eminent domain. Anything residential and commercial. Brad O'Brien, I appreciate you coming on, Brad. OLSlaw.com. QC.
Unless you have an issue with it, I'm going to trump you and give that to Bo instead. He has rental properties. Is there a reason you wanted Dee to have it?
No, I love that. I love that. I love it.
Bo's listening. He just couldn't come in.
That was a great idea. How about if every morning you could wake up and you hit one button, that one button sucks all the cool air from the basement and it gets rid of all the hot air on the first, second floor, whatever your house is made up of, and drops the temperature 10 to 20 degrees in a matter of minutes and saves you 50 to 90% off of those high air conditioning costs during the summer. That is QC Whole House Fan. Quiet, cool, whole house fan, sold and installed by QC Colorado. We talk about this company every year. You can save all the money, no more hot, sleepless nights. Maybe you don't have AC. I promise you, you're going to love this product. The comfort, it's great for your health. It gets rid of the dust that builds up in your house and the dander from pets. The ventilation brings in that cool, fresh outdoor air, and it is inexpensive and quiet. Please check them out at QCColorado.com. You're going to love it. You're going to save money. It pays for itself. QCColorado.com.
Top secret, Bo told me he'd be listening today from while his daughter's at the dentist. Are you saying he's not listening now?
I really do.
We're still giving him the case.
Any questions on this at all?
There's Deputy Bo. I am sitting at the dental school with, bad reception. I can oh no, we'll tell you.
Every time.
Just call me.
Readjust this.
Kelly, send Bo the info on Tiffany.
Every time you go to designer,
Bo, call me when you have time to listen.
I don't see where the interest rate's on here, Beb.
I don't see it either. So
Did you ask for the interest rate?
I thought that was in response to something you sent, because I didn't send anything.
I didn't send shit. I don't know.
Okay, I'll email them and
I just
ask.
need to know what the interest rate is.
Understood. And if they don't answer by end of the show, I'll call after the show. Does that work?
Yeah, it's not, listen though, it's not a normal interest rate like 5%. It's going to be something like 2.4 over LIBOR. So I want the actual number because LIBOR changes every day. I want to be able to calculate it. It's tied to something. I forget what it's tied to. And I forget the interest over what it's tied to.
Okay. And so how do I ask the question? Let's start there.
Say, what is the interest rate and what is it tied to on our line of credit?
Okay.
Say, is it tied to LIBOR? Then they'll know what you're talking about. I assume they would anyhow, but who knows?
Okay. Hang on. I'm going to type that up real quick. New message. What is the interest? What is the interest rate? And say it again. And is it tied?
And what is it tied to, comma, LIBOR, question mark?
LIBOR?
I'm looking right now, actually.
No, I've never heard
LIBOR.
Never heard that word.
LIBOR.
What is the interest rate? What is my interest rate?
On our line of credit, and what is it tied to, LIBOR?
On line of credit.
For example, is it 2% over LIBOR?
For example, is it 2% over LIBOR? I have a lot to learn on that regarding.
So the rate we have on that, most lines of credits fluctuate because if interest rates are high, you pay more. If they're low, you pay less. So what they do is they tie it to a borrowing rate, like LIBOR or SOFR.
Okay. Okay, I'm sending this out. Just let me know if you get the email that they messaged me back.
Yeah, the other thing is log in. Maybe change that to your email.
Well, you wanted it yours for some reason.
Yeah, I don't even, I mean, that was so many years ago. Or set up both. I don't know what they offer.
All right, I'll figure that out later. Let's get this handled.
It's so funny when I see FU follow up, I always think, of course, FU.
Oh, yeah.
It drives me, it's just my brain automatically goes to FU. It doesn't go to follow up.
When I was in the doctor's office, they always abbreviated that, and I was
Follow up care.
so if any patient ever saw what I looked like,
FU.
they would just see FU in their names.
I know. All right, 303-713-8255. Look, we got lines open. Tiffany is in actually pretty good shape. We're going to put her actually with Deputy Bo, Suzanne, because he's got rentals everywhere.
Yeah, he's well versed in the subject, I think.
Yeah, and let's try to get through. Kelly, did you get a phone number and try to reach out to Boardwalk or whoever Tiffany knew there? Because I would love to get them on and understand why all of a sudden they're charging her stuff they shouldn't be. And I hate the fact they don't allow people to pay the base rent. And as we heard from our attorney, Brad O'Brien, that's pretty much a no-no. She's going to be able to win this in court. If they don't want to renew it, they're going to end up getting in trouble, and they're going to have to renew it, long as all the information she gave us.
So I do have the newest one that she's been assigned to. The previous two have been fired.
Really? Really? Over at Boardwalk Management?
Correct.
They actually said they've been fired, or Tiffany said that?
Tiffany said that.
Okay. Did you try to reach out to the newest one?
I'm going to do that right now.
Yeah, see if they could come on, or if they won't come on, at least find out. Just ask them, how come you're charging Tiffany? Let's use an exact example for anything to do with utilities when none of that. In fact, the opposite is in the lease. She takes care of them, and she's not able to pay her base rent because your portal won't allow her.
Yeah.
It's a shakedown. I'm telling
really
you, in my
is an
opinion,
interesting situation, and
it's more than interesting. To me, it's a shakedown. I'd like to find more out about Boardwalk. I wonder if they're slumlords.
No, all I have is a direct number. So
yeah, see what you can figure
out. My guess is going to get voicemail, but just be forewarned.
Yeah, well, see what you can get. If you leave a voicemail, leave a nice one. And I'll tell you, if that doesn't work and we don't hear back from them, I've got other ways to try to wake up the new person over there. And people that listen to the show know what that is. We can give a online review of them, a review where you call up and leave a message with Boardwalk and try to understand why they're shaking down this lady, in my opinion. It's absolutely nuts. Brooke, what do you think? You listened to that whole call unfold.
Yeah, that's insane. I'm really glad that she called in and you guys are going to be able to help her, because that just seems like exactly what you're talking about. She pays a cheaper rate and they're trying to get her out so they can make more money off of somebody else. That's just not how it's done.
You can't do it. And in this world right now in Colorado, listen, like it or hate it, landlords do not have a lot of power anymore. It's like the pendulum swung. In fact, that happens a lot in Colorado. In fact, it's kind of happening behind the scenes right now, even in Denver a little bit. But that pendulum, it goes so far left or so far right, it comes back. But right now, I mean, everything is in the tenant's favor. You realize if I have a lease with you, Brooke, and you rent a house from me, and it's a 1-year lease, at the end of that 1 year, I have to renew you. It doesn't matter. Long as you've been paying, I have to renew you unless I move into that house or I'm going to sell that house. If I'm going to keep it, I can't simply rent to somebody else. And there's some other exemptions out there. But in generally speaking, I have to keep you as a tenant as long as you want to be there after you've lived there 1 year. That's how Denver works now. Or Colorado.
I didn't know that. That's insane. Are you able to adjust rent with the annual?
Once a year, I can adjust rent. Okay. Now, I can't scare the hell out of you, and I don't know what's acceptable because that's going to ultimately be up to a judge. I can't say, I really want to get rid of Brooke. So, hey, Brooke, I'm raising the rent this 1 year, this one time this year, and it's going to be $10 million. And then, of course, that would get you out because no one's going to pay $10 million. Right. So you can't go to that extreme. But it doesn't say like 10%, 20%. It doesn't say what you can do. And I think they actually do follow up if the person that moves out because of the rent increase, they could probably follow up with the court system if they find out you didn't raise it what you were told it was going to be raised. And then the landlord's in trouble. It's really hard now. We've got people that own lots of rentals in the state. And I'll tell you straight up, they're getting the hell out of Colorado because it's just too hard to be a landlord.
Why did they make that legislation go through? What was the idea behind it?
Well, because there was a lot of slumlords. That's that pendulum I'm talking about. It was to the point where you could bully around your tenants. If you had a Section 8, you could pretty much say, you want to complain that the washing machine doesn't work and that's part of the lease? Well, since you opened your mouth, I'm going to get you out of here and put somebody else in come renewal. So, I mean, it was like really in that favor. But here's the deal. There's good landlords that you don't even have to deal with this stuff. And there's good tenants you don't have to. But, the state of Colorado and our legislature decided to step in and write all these new rules that are ultimately making it more expensive to rent here because there's going to be less landlords and people are going to want more money to deal with all this other crap. So everybody hang tight. We've got one coming up with Dan McKenzie. He's another attorney at referrallist.com, and he has everything to do with estate planning and probate and pretty much you name it. We've got that and a lot more. 3 lines open. 303 Martino. Love to hear from you. 303-713-TALK.
It's like they can never fix something. They always have to go too far.
Yeah, exactly. Same with the feds. Feds are the same.
Yeah.
Rock scaling. What is he on for anyhow?
So there's a call coming up. I was waiting until you did your live to tell you about it.
Okay. You having fun?
Yeah. This is really cool.
Is it what you thought?
Yep. I watched a few videos online.
Oh, okay. I mean, you were already prepped then.
Yep.
I was not my first time. You were mad about something. I was like, oh my God. I did. I was like, I need something.
DUI, shoplifting, assault, murder, child neglect, you name it, you need a good attorney. If you've been accused of a crime, and I mean any crime, it can ruin your life. Joseph A. Lazaire is there for you. You know, he's a criminal defense attorney we've known for years and years and years. In fact, I'd say Suzanne and I over 15 years. Thank goodness we've never had to use him. But the bottom line is this. He can either get you the best deal out there with the DA and the judge because he knows all these people, or he can get in front of a jury and fight and win the case for you, get you off. 303-429-6200. Please do not go at it alone. You're absolutely insane if you do. Call the best. 303-429-6200. Another great attorney Suzanne and I have used, in fact, twice. John Fuller Law. In fact, John fills in for us sometimes when Tom and I can't be here. But here's the bottom line. If you're hurt in an accident, you want to deal with the attorney. You don't want to deal with 10 different attorneys or 20 different employees. You want to deal with the attorney. That's John Fuller. Both times we used him, he got us every cent of insurance money in that person who was at fault's policy. Every single cent. He'll talk to you for free. 303-529-6200. No, I'm sorry. 303-52. Suzanne, help me out here.
303-597-4500.
303-597-4500. Welcome to Live Radio. 303-597-4500.
Charles Crouch says about Brooke, what do I have here? I can't wait for my solar system to be activated. Brooke has been awesome.
Oh.
Is that a YouTuber?
It's a YouTubie. Him and his wife are
I'll have you
really,
know.
really cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it a commercial or?
No. Oh, kind of. So they have a small business out of their home, and so we installed it on the detached garage.
So you got it done commercially.
So it's commercial for tax credits, residential for the utility company, which happens all the time. I mean,
Can you do a grant that way or no?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Did he have any grant?
No, because he did his project when the REAP grant went away.
Got it.
And he doesn't have any community benefit, right? Like, it's just benefiting him.
Yeah, I got you.
Mm-hmm. But no, he's super nice. The only issue with that one is...
Can just selling back to the grid be the benefit to the community or no?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just the fact they buy some from you.
Yeah. So, like, for instance, Dimitri has that gun club he was talking about. And if they're a nonprofit entity, they get some extra benefits. But they can also say that they're going to sell back to the grid at this point, and it's going to help out with X, Y, and Z. And that would be a community benefit. So he could qualify for that grant, too. Mm-hmm. So it just depends on how you flux it. I mean, I think with any grants, it's more about your narrative that you write than anything else. As long as you have somebody that can spin a good story.
Just make sure Steve knows I'll get when I get, so tell him just to hold on.
No, we're okay.
It looks like they should have the appraisal lined up for Miles here soon.
Oh, good. I know that's been a pain in the ass.
Everything's a pain in the ass in that town. This town is so tiny, everybody comes from other towns to get things done.
Our son is buying his first house.
I was going to ask. So he got the dream gig. Now he's getting the house. Look at him.
Send her a link to the house. It's pretty cool.
Oh, I want to see.
You wanted an email or text?
Oh, whichever.
Send her the Zillow link.
The Zillow?
Yeah, that's the best one, really.
Yeah, but there's no pictures, really. But, yeah. Let's see here.
That was like 8
Is it
pictures.
close to...
4 miles. On the same road.
4 miles from Walmart, 4 miles from his fishing
And it's a
spot.
flat road. He can literally ride his bike.
That's all you
He's
need.
an outdoorsy guy now. It's so crazy. God.
Well, there's not much else to do in Nebraska.
There's nothing to do
I'm
with
from Iowa.
That's what it was.
They're like
Same
very,
difference, right?
Yes. Yeah, the only thing is Iowa has hills. Nebraska is pretty flat. That's literally.
Yeah, he can ride just a regular bike. You wouldn't even need an electric. As flat as it is, he'd be at work in 9 minutes, it says. Or
oh, yeah.
12 minutes, whatever it is.
To add into his, 1.2 million steps he takes a day?
1.2.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, no, it's like, I think it's like 49,000, 50, 60,000. One time he came home from lunch. This is during COVID, so he was still working at Walmart in Elizabeth. He comes home from lunch, and her and I, back at that time, were doing 3 miles in the morning, walking every day with the dog. So we get back, and I'm bragging about, I already got 8,000 steps, and it's only 11 a.m., and he comes home for lunch and pulls up his fucking Apple Watch, and he's at like 47,000 that morning. God, if I know. I mean, that's all he does is walk.
You take it divided by 2. And that's
all right, 303-713-8255. 303 Martino. We've got a lot cooking. I do have some lines open, though. We're going to go to Dan McKenzie. And I'll catch everybody up on this, but I did want to tell you about Fix It 24/7. These guys have second opinion is worth gold. I got an email the other day. The guy had, I'm not going to say what company it was, but I will say this. It was another referral list member, and it's a great company. But they were selling him an air conditioner and a furnace, kind of a wrapped-up system, and the total was about $13,000. And Fix It went out there for a free second opinion. Same system. I think it was Carrier. I forget what brand it was. But same exact system. Apples for apples. They came in $2,500 less, and they could get the job done a day quicker. So the second opinion is worth its weight in gold. It's 100% free. Even if someone told you you need an expensive repair, a $3,000 or $4,000 repair, you get the free second opinion, especially on a new system. Price ranges in home services. It fluctuates more than anything else I know about. I've seen water heaters $1,500, and I've seen water heaters, the exact same one, $6,000. Okay? Get the free second opinion. FixMyHome.com. That's FixMyHome.com. Now, someone catch me up. Gary, yesterday, I took the day off yesterday.
So, Mark, he called yesterday in Tom's notes. His father passed away in January of 23. Then Dad's widow passed away in February of 25, and he thinks he's a part of the estate. Dan McKenzie wasn't available yesterday, so now we have both Gary, the caller, and Dan on to powwow about this.
So, Gary, real quick before I bring up Dan up so he can get some real basics. Both of them passed away. Do you have siblings? Are you an only child?
No, my father remarried, and so my stepmother's executor of the estate since he passed. I have one half sister, and then I have a stepsister and a stepbrother. And will and testament says that 50% of the estate will go to my stepbrother, who took good care of him. He deserves that. And then the other 50% should be dispersed to the half sister.
But what is that 50%? Help me with that. What is it?
I think it's just going to be the proceeds of the selling of their house, which is probably about $250,000, and any other cash beyond that.
And then is someone saying they get all of it right now?
No, I don't think anybody.
Is there a will?
That. There is a will and testament that my father made out. And
so where does the rub come in? What is the actual question?
The actual question is, I've been trying to identify from the attorneys who handled the estate with my stepmother what's happening since her death in February, and do I still have any of that will and testament?
Okay,
since she was the executor?
I got you. Hold on, let me bring up Dan. Hey, Dan, it's so funny. We do get this question a lot. Someone doesn't have access. So, I mean, really, you don't have access to the will, Gary, or you have no information since January on anything going on.
That is correct. And I actually hired an attorney to make contact, and he tells me they don't have any obligation to tell me anything.
Yeah, that's true, and I'll get into that with Dan. But, Dan, let me ask you a generic question. This guy just made me think about Gary. If, let's say my mom and dad my mom passes, and my dad, of course, has everything that was in both their names. And in my case, that'd be everything. I mean, everything would go to whoever survives. So let's say now my dad's got, to use a round number, $100,000. So then he gets remarried, and he's still got $100,000, and the new wife moves into the house. I mean, he at that point, regardless of anything, he could simply will everything to that new wife if he wanted to. Then I would be left with nothing. I mean, correct?
Right.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's what happened here, is why I brought it up. But what do you make of everything Gary said? And Dan, please feel free to ask any questions.
Yeah, it can be difficult because you've got the will saying, well, here's where things go. But then the question is, okay, but what does the will actually control? And your point, Mark, is right on, which is like, I mean, he could have put her on the house. Like if it was jointly owned, then that became hers, and that might have happened with all the assets. And his will ends up really controlling nothing because everything passed to her through other means. And so trying to figure out what happened there can be a little bit of a challenge. It might actually involve going back and investigating your dad's estate. And it sounds like you do have that will. Did your stepmother's will get lodged with the court? Have you actually seen that?
I have not, Dan. I have I haven't seen that or even tried to access it.
Okay. It's possible. I mean, that might be the first stop, actually, is to go see what her will says if she had one. And if she did, if there isn't one showing up, then the question is it not showing up because the person who has it hasn't turned it over yet, or is it because there wasn't one? But yeah, it can be a little bit challenging because, you also need to know what the assets are, and somebody might not have shared that information.
See, if he made her, your stepmother, the beneficiary of everything, beneficiary's deed on the house, beneficiary on the bank accounts, you get the idea. I mean, your dad's estate has nothing then. It's all her and what she put in her will, not what his wishes were. But, I mean, we don't know if that happened. But, Dan, I mean, he has no access. If he wanted to force the point, can he motion the judge or hire an attorney to motion the judge to force them to share the will or what happened to the assets? Or how do you actually get answers? Even through an attorney, how do you get them?
Yeah, if you have an interest in the estate, you should be able to see the will. I mean, some of this stuff is public too. I mean, if they owned if your dad owned real estate, you could go back and look at that deed history and just see. Did he put her on the house? Did he put it in a trust? Is it in a trust now? Like, how is it deeded right now? And maybe go back a few months.
Hey, Dan, it's Suze here. I have a question. So if the other folks' attorney says he has no obligation or they have no obligation to Gary, if Gary was mentioned in a will from the widow, would they then have an obligation to let Gary know that? Or even if he was in it, they still have no obligation?
Yeah, he would have, if he's mentioned in a will, then he certainly has an interest in the estate and would have the right to see the will. And the will, their obligation is to lodge that will with the court, right? So I don't know if they necessarily have any obligation to him, but they do have an obligation to put the will in a place where he can access it.
So, but Gary said he hired an attorney, and the attorney said, basically, Gary told you have no right to see the will, right?
Yeah, that's exactly
but hold on,
right.
Wouldn't that, Dan, if everybody was doing everything on the up and up, that would mean he's simply not in the will.
Right. I mean, which is totally, step relations are nothing, right? I mean, it's like, you can have a step kid in your life since they were a tiny little kid and you feel like that's my kid, and it's like, not legally.
No, not legally. I mean, Gary, it's a horrible position you're in. So bottom line, in fact, Dan, I hate to do this to you. We also have another question I wanted to bring up with you. So do you mind hanging on? Or let me do this. Let me have Kelly call you back after the big break so you're not sitting there on hold wasting time. Is that cool?
Yeah, I think I've got another thing at noon, so we'll see if I can get on, but I'm happy to.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate it, man. Hold on, everybody. And then, Gary, hold on. I want to get, ABC after this for you. And then, Dan, maybe we can connect later next hour, but I got another one. Hold on. You thought I was going to go over, didn't you? Yeah, well, yeah. Tell him I'm going to use him for about a minute and a half coming back. But then I'd like him when he's done with his noon thing later on. Yeah, if he can. And I'm sure he can. Fix It 24/7. I was just telling you about them. That second opinion is worth its weight in gold. If they can save you money on a new system, they're going to tell you. And a lot of home service companies, the price ranges so much in between companies, it's absolutely insane. Get the free second opinion. These guys are a great company. They do electric, they do HVAC, they do plumbing, drain cleaning. It's a big company, and they do a great job, and they've got great warranties. FixMyHome.com. That is FixMyHome.com. Brad O'Brien, we had him on as one of our experts last hour. If it comes to real estate, and I don't care if it's commercial or residential, if you're buying a new property, or maybe it's, I don't know, a lease you've never had looked at and the renewal's coming, or if you're a landlord and you hadn't had your lease reviewed in a long time, as we talked about, the laws have changed, you call this guy. He can look at simple deals, complicated deals, fence disputes, adverse possession, maybe someone put a lien on your house, or maybe you're a contractor that needs to lien someone's house. He does it all. OLSlaw.com. OLSlaw.com.
Brooke, remind me, do you need different headphones? I know something, smaller ones. Was it something like that?
These ones are fine. I just have a really small
So,
head.
Dan, I'm going to come
Like
back
a
to you
weirdo.
just real quick.
My
Advice
4-year-old's
for you
head
in a
is
minute,
bigger
and
than
I'll give you
mine.
the plug, but my question was, we've
No,
got another
I'm
one
not.
that's interesting.
He also has a giant head, but like if you
that
got
has
rid
to
of
do
all
with
this
Susan's
hair, I would
thing,
look
but is
like a
that something you
weirdo
can do
walking around.
either
That is so
later
funny. Your
on
head
in the
doesn't
12 o'clock
look
hour or the
extra
1
Oh yeah, it's because I got all this hair. You don't realize.
Do you want different headphones?
These are perfect.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, if they hurt, I would tell you. Or I would like put a bun up to like set them like I did last time.
That is so funny. When with Adeline, I got pregnant on the pill. So my OBGYN says you got to go see a geneticist and make sure, they want to offer you all your options, right? And he's looking at me and Mark, and he goes, well, you both have relatively large heads. And I'm like, oh, my God, really? Really? So you've got a small head.
I do. I have a very small ear. Beckett's head is giant. He looks like a little head with a stick body. You know what I mean? Like just one of those kids. You've seen Beckett. He does have a giant head.
How old is he?
4.
4. That's right. And your little girl, you have a little girl, right? 2?
A boy.
Oh, you have 2
But
boys.
he's got hair that, maybe you could confuse him.
No, you have 2 boys.
I do have 2 boys,
And
though.
You've got a younger one, or is your youngest 4?
Nope, 4 and 2.
4 and 2. Okay,
Yep,
gotcha.
yep. So we're at the very baby stage.
And what's your baby's name?
Amel.
Amel.
Which is super weird. Aaron picked it out. He said it's German, but nobody believes it's German. So
It doesn't sound German. but
exactly, it doesn't. So well,
Mark
we have
got-
this thing. Did I ever tell you this story? I don't know.
You might have. Go ahead.
Probably. So his family has a tradition where the firstborn son takes his dad's middle name, so it'd be grandpa's middle name for the baby.
Uh-huh.
So I go, okay, then I get to pick out Beckett's first name because you get Beckett's middle name, right? So for the second one, he got to pick the first name and I got the middle name.
We agreed on first names, but he picked the son's middle name, and I picked daughter's.
Well, I wanted Reagan, though, for Adeline.
Well, regardless, we agreed on
Adeline,
on both
Yeah.
first names, and then you picked it's Miles Kramer and Adeline Blue.
Oh, that's right, because you picked blue.
And he wanted Kramer as the first name. And I
Right.
sent everybody
You know where
over there,
Kramer
like,
came-
oh my God, no, not Kramer.
You know where that comes from?
I would assume Seinfeld,
Yeah.
right? Because that's the only thing I've ever heard.
He loves it. Or maybe he doesn't. I'm not sure.
He doesn't.
Nor
He
do I
just
care.
tells you he loves it.
I make him like it.
And then their daughter, did she take the bar yet?
Not
Or she-
yet.
Not yet?
Tried. Woo.
Okay, so she's an attorney or a lawyer? Which one?
So she is
She's a
a...
lawyer.
She's a
She's a
lawyer.
lawyer.
Is she a
At
lawyer?
grad school
She's not
done.
an attorney.
She's an attorney when she passes the bar.
Yes. She's a
nervous?
lawyer
She's going to kill
because
it.
she passed law school.
She's going to kill it, but I'm nervous because I know how stressed she is. And she gets that, what do you call it, sleep paralysis when she's stressed. She breaks out in rashes.
Jesus.
She every time coming up on finals in college. So I can't even imagine the amount of pressure she's under. That's what I'm stressed about. I'm not
Yeah.
stressed if she's going to pass or not.
Right.
I'm stressed that she's going to be able to hold it together.
To get to the next.
She is like not fall apart physically.
She's a JD,
Oh,
Juris Doctor,
The
or
attorney.
or an attorney, but
Versus
not a
lawyer.
licensed attorney. So that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, lawyer.
All right, 303-713-8255. I'm going to jump right back into Dan McKenzie. Dan, so for Gary, though, he has an attorney. I don't even know if this is in state. But bottom line is, what can he do, if anything, at this point? What is your direct advice to him, like step one, step two?
Step one would probably be there is a document request form on the Colorado Court website, and you can go on there and see if you can request a will for your stepmother and for your dad, and just make sure you've got those. And then, like I say, if they had any sort of publicly held properties, like real estate especially, if there's any real estate that either one of them would own,
See who holds
you
the
can go
deed.
back and look at those deeds. Those are all public record. You can see how they were titled and if there was a trust or if things were jointly owned or what.
Yeah, Gary, look at whatever county. Go to the county website and look up the property and see whose name it's in. You got that?
Okay.
That's a
Can I
good
add
freebie to do. And then, is this in Colorado?
No, this is in Ohio. Here's how I would add one thing. My stepmother was really incapacitated that whole time between my father's death and her dying. And so my stepsister was given power of attorney within that time.
Yeah,
frame.
you're going to have to. The first thing I would do is exactly what Dan said. Whether it's in Ohio or not, it's not going to matter. You're going to be able to go to the county and figure out who owns that house. That's the first thing I do. Do that and report back to us. And Dan, I'm hoping you can hold on till after this. I'll come to you right after the break. But we got another good one for you. Hold tight.
Now, Brooke, I know you're quite a bit younger than me, but
No way.
did you
Hey,
watch?
Gary, if you want to give the address and stuff to Kelly, I'll have someone in the background
Are you-
see if we can't figure out
serious?
who owns
There's
the
no
property.
way. You look like you're like mid-40s tops.
Hold on.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
I'm
hold
older
on.
than that. But I was going to ask you, did you watch Pee Wee Herman?
Yes.
So the whole documentary came out on his life.
Can-
On
okay.
Paul Rubens.
Okay.
There's two
Kelly,
episodes.
Kelly.
Yes,
Is it
yes,
good?
yes.
Oh my
Um,
God.
pick up
That
one.
guy was
Gary's going to give you the
fascinating, the way he
address
thought
of that property in Ohio.
Okay.
Email the entire address and see if he knows what county it is to or whatever they have there in
That is
Ohio.
the age difference
And email
right
it to
there. There you go,
Suzanne
yeah.
and then get the
No, I
full
just turned
name of the
50.
stepmother and his father
What did you do for it? Did you
in
do
that
for
same
fun?
email.
Yeah, we went to Vegas and saw the
and then
Killers.
email Suzanne
Were they
that
good?
along with
I've
Gary's
seen them like
information.
30 times.
Oh,
Thank
is that your band?
That's my band right
That's your
there.
band?
Yep.
Who is
The-
it?
The Killers.
Oh, yeah.
But no, so anyway, but it was just so good. That guy's brain, I had no idea it worked that way. And it was so fascinating.
That'd be cool. I'll have to check it out. What's it on?
What's it on, Mark? Netflix?
What is it, Ben?
Paul Rubens documentary.
Oh, that
Pee
was
Wee
great.
Herman.
No, it's Max.
It's Max, if you got that.
Oh,
HBO
yeah.
Max. It was phenomenal.
That guy
Pee Wee
is
Herman.
so fascinating.
I agree 100%. He's nothing. Well, he's kind of like Pee Wee Herman, but it's crazy how that's It's great. It's just a great doc.
Yeah.
Don't watch the poop cruise if you don't like
the poop
poop.
cruise. Oh, and the other one. Have you ever heard of this Travis Scott guy? Yeah. So I guess in Houston, the Astro, whatever, there was a bunch of deaths during his concert. Because anyway, this whole series called Trainwreck. That is on what, Mark? Netflix?
Which one?
Trainwreck, Poop Cruise,
Netflix.
Astro World.
Netflix.
Yeah. So they did one on Astro World, Travis Scott's concert in Houston.
All these people died.
Why did they die?
Trampled.
Because they just didn't. They let too many people in, and they got crushed in GA on the front rows and stuff. God, it's like it'll make you rethink ever going GA again at a concert.
I love GA.
Then the Poop Cruise one just came out yesterday. There was a cruise ship, I guess, back in 2013.
Oh yeah.
That they lost all power, and so no toilets working. It's not as gory as you would think. That'll make you rethink going on a cruise. That's for sure.
It is crazy.
We're not cruise people though.
Yeah, we've done a couple, but it's been many
The honeymoon
years.
cruise was fun.
Yeah.
The Carnival cruise.
The one with his parents wasn't as fun.
That's horrible.
Let's just keep it at that.
We did an
I might have been
one.
threatened to be flown off the cruise ship.
Yeah, maybe. It's a
Sounds
rumor.
like a story. You guys always have the best stories, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think I tell you that every time I see you, because there's a new one, like the car thing that came up.
Yes, Case 31. That Pee Wee Herman one was good, and Astro World. Those Travis Scott fans, they're on a whole nother level. Let me tell you, whole nother level.
Is he a I don't even know.
Yeah, they're
rad. Is he a rapper?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
He gets the
And
crowd going.
I didn't realize this. Yeah, my daughter told me that after I told her to watch the documentary. She's like, that's Kardashian's baby daddy.
Who?
Travis Scott.
Oh, I
I
didn't.
think it's the Jenner one, isn't it?
Travis Scott, wife. It's Kylie Jenner. Yep.
I was right.
Which
I'm
one?
going to tell Aaron that because I never do pop culture stuff.
Kylie Jenner.
She's the richest one, isn't she?
No.
I think she is the richest one.
She's been on the cover of Forbes. She's so
She's got clothing lines, jewelry lines, and real estate.
anymore.
Oh, Dragon's back. That's so nice to hear. I can't go number 2 anymore.
Dragon.
He's back. That sounds like our doorbell at home. That's weird.
I was playing roulette on that cruise ship, Brooke, and I hit my number.
Yeah.
And the guy said I didn't. Literally, the dealer.
It's black and white. Like you're either doing it. No, there's no.
The dealer just scooped all the chips off like no one hit, including mine, and that was it. So I got upset.
I would too. I would freak out.
Well, I got probably more upset than most people. I'll leave it at that. So next thing I know,
kids were little, and they. Oh my God!
The captain had security put me in my room, and I was not allowed to leave the room till the next day.
And I got a talking to about keeping you in your room until the next day.
Or they were going to fly me by helicopter off the cruise ship and drop me off in fucking Mexico or something.
And charge
wherever
us for
was
the ride.
closest.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever
right
was
in the
closest.
Ocean. Right in the ocean.
So I went down the next morning, and I'm still pissed off as hell.
Oh, sure, as you should be.
The head of security calmed me down. And he goes, we looked at the video, and you're right, the dealer made a mistake. And, we apologize for that. But there was a million ways to handle it way better than how you handled it. So we came to an arrangement that I would not handle things that way anymore on the cruise ship.
And they paid you, right? Your winnings?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. It was I think it was like $70 or something. I was pretty sure they would fucking fly me off the cruise ship, too.
$70? I thought it was going to be like
my kids were crying because they
Miles
thought...
and Ad were like 2 and 4 at the time.
Absolutely bawling, thinking Dad was going to be...
arrested or something.
No,
a pirate.
Thrown off the side of the cruise ship. bastards.
Oh, Mark.
That was so long ago. 70
I'm
bucks.
gonna tell somebody
70
that.
bucks was big, man. I mean, that wasn't cheap.
Look,
That's back when 70 bucks could buy 2-3 dinners at Applebee's when kids eat free on Thursdays.
$70. I don't even think I could get a tenth of my groceries for that.
No, not anymore.
It's insane. I got 4 things the other day, eggs, sandwich roast beef. I don't know, little stuff. It was $60.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It's crazy.
It was roulette winnings.
You thought it was thousands. No, not back then. I don't know why. I probably would have been helicoptered off if it was thousands. That'd be like you hit bingo, and they're like, no, sorry. And you're like, no, look, I got fucking bingo.
Right?
No, sorry.
That's it. I just can't.
Enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Cash. That's cash. Enter it now at khow.com. Keep listening to win on 630 KHOW.
Ripped off, bad news. You need advice so you don't have to lose. We'll come running just as fast as we can. Troubleshooter's gonna help the common man.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
Welcome, my friends, to the only show of its kind. We're here to solve problems, answer questions, take complaints. We're here to make your life just a little bit better. You've been ripped off or need any help. We do have 3 lines open, 303-713-8255, 303 Martino. We love helping people. In fact, to the tune of over $300 million in cash, merchandise, exchanges, and refunds directly due to the show. We love diving into problems. Make sure you spread that number around, 303 Martino. It works on and off the air, or you can always email us anytime at help@troubleshooter.com. We try to man the phones quite a bit, more than you'd think, even when we're not live. And then, of course, emails we answer constantly. A lot of us have access to that account, and we all dive in and try to help people. But that's it, 303 Martino. I want to bring up Dan McKenzie again. And here's the deal. Kelly, you're going to send Suzanne all the information from Gary.
Yeah, I just sent the last will and testament of his father, and I'm sending her the information that I've garnered about his stepmother.
So, Suzanne, what I want you to do is hop on the website in Ohio and figure out what county it is and see if you can't look up who owns that property in Ohio. I mean, that's it. Just do a little legwork, and we'll get back to Gary so we can free Gary up, actually. But, hey, Dan, I want to ask you something, man. This came up in Suzanne's family, and I'm not going to get into specifics, but someone's dad passed away. Okay, and Suzanne, you're going to have to jump in this story.
Sure.
And there was a wife that was not the biological, so a stepmom. So stepmom is living in that house right now. Dad passed away. He had an estate. There's cash in the estate, and then there's a house. I believe somehow they did it to where she can live in the house until she dies, but then the house goes to the son. Is that correct?
That's correct, because that house and property had been in, let's just say it, my brother-in-law's family's, in the family for many decades.
Oh, my God, 1800s.
Yeah, since it's been in part of the family.
Dan, they actually have cemeteries on this property. It's really crazy. So they'll probably be buried there. But so that's what happened to the house. But where I don't understand, how did the money work, Suzanne? How did the rest of the estate pass? Because the kid didn't get the money. Is it like the wife has access to it till she dies?
So the wife can use it for her expenses until she dies, and what's left over, this is my understanding, what was left over would then go back to the son.
And here's what I don't get, Dan. Setting something up like that, unless if you limited it, like in a trust to where she gets $5,000 or we pay the utilities or something along that, if the cash just transfers to somebody under this scenario, I mean, they could easily just spend it or give it to their own offspring. I mean, I get this. You're not looking at the will or a trust, if there is a trust or anything like that. But what do you make of a plan like that? Is that somewhat normal when it comes to the property? That way it stays in the blood family, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times that is a good use for trust, is to make sure someone can stay there and you can have a right of occupancy. And it's good to spell out how costly, who's paying for what. A person's living there temporarily and isn't going to get ownership, doesn't want to replace the roof, but, that might need to be done. So specifying that usually is a good use for a trust. I mean, certainly on real estate, you could have a life estate, which does not require trust planning. It's a little bit antiquated, but I still see them sometimes where it just says, this person will get this property for their lifetime, and then it's going to, go back to this. So that can be done without a trust, but I'm trying to think of a way that you could do that with cash, and it seems like we would need a trust to do that.
Well, and where this brings me to is people out there listening right now that are in this circumstance, or maybe the kids are listening and they're going, oh yeah, my dad's been married 3 times. I always thought we were going to get the family house. I mean, when we start talking about asset protection to the beneficiaries you want it going to, I mean, that's one of the key things you guys do, or one of the key things that people need to have done and you guys do. So give me an example when we just don't talk about a trust or will. I thought this was a great example. The father actually went out of his way to make sure that, the son, his firstborn, and that's just how he wanted it, actually gets that house, that property that has been in that family since the 1800s. Give me some other ideas of how people can protect, let's call it their legacy, that asset protection part of what you do.
I mean, this is really common in blended families with stepkids or step relations. I mean, we just heard it with Gary, right? I mean, it's just like, if you get married, you can accidentally disinherit your own kids because you do the normal thing, which is, combine assets with your spouse, and then they're going to get it. And you can have a will that says all kinds of things about what your kids get, but that will ends up doing nothing because everything transferred to the spouse first. So it just comes up way more often than you would think. It doesn't need to be anything exotic like an 1800s farmhouse. It could just be the house. This actually happens all the time, and a lot of times, like, people want to say, I want my spouse to be able to stay in this house. I don't want them to be rushed out. I don't want kids coming in and taking all the furnishings out or things like that. But ultimately, yes, I came into this marriage with these assets, and this other person had their assets, and we want to keep them. We want our kids to benefit. So we're going to, control this out a couple of steps of trust planning.
Do you hear that a lot where people call you up and go, my dad or my mom, forever, we're going to leave us X, and all of a sudden they got remarried and then passed away, and now we literally don't have anything and no one will give us any information. I know we get that call a lot. In fact, I bet we get it weekly.
Yeah. I mean, people need to understand what I said earlier when we were talking to Gary about, like, step relations are really not, that is not really a formal legal thing.
Yeah.
If my step parent passes away, I am not an heir to them at law. They can certainly make me one by putting me in their will, but that probably is usually not what happens. Even when people don't have animosity for that person, they just don't think to do it. We do see people accidentally get disinherited. Of course, oral promises, you might be familiar with the concept that, yes, contracts, oral contracts, you and I can make an oral contract for you to provide
means
services
nothing.
and vice versa. That does not apply in the will context, because if we did that, like, everybody would come in and say, this person has passed away and isn't here to refute me, coincidentally, it was telling me all the time I was going to get that, to our house.
You educated me years ago when we were talking that if you had a video will, which really means nothing, but I mean, it might be someone's wishes, them on video. I'm not talking about a deep fake. I mean, an actual VHS of it. And then you have a will that's different than that. It doesn't matter. It's going to go to the written will. The recording means almost nothing, right?
I mean, that became real popular for a moment there where, people were trying to use videos to confirm that when someone was disinherited, it was really meant. So they video the person saying, I really mean to disinherit this person. And those videos actually, I think they found were doing more harm than good, because a lot of times the person was quite elderly. They didn't really look good on camera. They were totally opposite with you. They were looking pretty feeble. Everyone's like, we don't know if you were standing off camera with a gun, pointed at them saying, you better say this.
Good point.
So,
or I'm not going to, you better say this or I'm not going to feed you later tonight or something.
Right.
Hey,
down.
Last question about, once again, kind of asset protection, but same kind of scenario, new wife. And let's say there was a life insurance policy out there and, you thought the kids thought they were the beneficiary forever. I mean, people don't realize this, but, they can change that beneficiary almost at any time. And you really have no right to look at the policy, right?
Yeah, it's pretty tough to track that stuff down. I mean, you can challenge designated beneficiaries for the same reason that you can challenge a will. You can say the person was unduly influenced. You can say they didn't have capacity to make that kind of decision, but it's harder because there's no court case that passes outside of probate. So, it would take some effort to get the company to share that information with you. So.
Here's something everybody listening to I love about Mackenzie. So, Dan, when you call him up, you'll talk to him for free. He'll set a time for you. You can talk over the phone or meet him, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter where you're in Colorado, though. He can help you out. So, or do a Zoom for that matter. But what's really cool is you kind of tell him where you're at. Hey, I'm married. I'm 30. We've got 2 kids. We got this for assets. We own a house. And he's going to come up with a plan that's right for you because everybody's different. Whoever's listening can be a lot different than Suzanne and I. I mean, our kids are older in life. When you have younger kids, you got to figure out, I think the most important thing we did in our 20s, Dan, was figure out what would happen to the kids. Who's going to take care of the kids? That's probably when people, even if they don't have a lot of assets or live in an apartment, I mean, really, that's when people got to start thinking about a will, right? Either when they come into some kind of money or something. I mean, even if it's just a car you own outright, who do you want to have it? But really, when you have kids, wouldn't you say that's like the first thing for most people?
I say whenever you have somebody relying on you, and you kind of, most people don't really care if their creditors get taken care of, but once you start owing people money, you got someone relying on you, frankly, but at least family. If you've got a spouse who's dependent on your income, if you got kids, like that's kind of the part where you got to say, here's who's going to benefit from this stuff.
And then just the asset protection for people out there, when we talked about that a little, one thing I didn't touch base on, I'm kind of dealing with years ago, I started thinking my parents live in Florida. If you move assets before Medicaid might come in and take everything if they end up in long-term care, which my parents haven't. They live in their own house and they're in good shape. But a lot of people do end up in long-term care. And if they have $500,000, let me tell you, once they kick on Medicaid, $500,000 can go so fast, it would just blow your mind. So anything that you wanted to leave to your kids or anything your kids, were hoping to get from you, and that could even be the house, the equity in the house. Medicaid can take that stuff away, but there's different things and look back periods, and that all ties back into that asset protection that Dan can help you with. If you're listening right now and go, oh man, if I end up there, I still want my kids to get this house or part of my legacy. He can help you there, but there's time frames, and that's the kind of stuff you got to call Dan on. He's great. Dan, I appreciate you coming on, and you can call Dan at 833-CO, as in Colorado Plans, 833-CO Plans, and he'll actually talk to you, like I said, and put together pricing, meaning you don't charge hourly, right, Dan? I mean, you pretty much say it's going to be this amount, and here's what we're going to do.
Yeah, we try and do a flat fee for as much as we can.
Yeah, I realize probate or some things are different when you end up in a court and you're fighting over something. But in general, if you're looking to structure a will or that asset protection, I'm telling you, man, Dan's the man. This guy lives and breathes it, and he's great at it. Call him up, talk to him for free, get a price. Maybe you got a will or a trust you haven't updated and you got remarried, and something along the lines of what we've talked about in the last half hour is making you think. 833-CO Plans or coplans.co. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, bro.
What's that?
Borrow your badge.
Of course.
Okay, I'm pulling Fuller up this time. QC Colorado Quiet Cool Whole House fan. You say, why would I want that, Mark? I'll tell you why. Get rid of those high AC bills. You know, you can save 50 to 90%. Imagine this miracle that's in your house. And when you turn it on in the morning, you just hit a little button. You can even use a remote, maybe an app, and bam, it turns on. And check it out. It sucks up all that cool air from the basement, and it gets all that hot air in the attic and the first and second stories out of there, sucks up that cool, drops the temperature, 10 to 20 degrees in a matter of minutes. And then you buckle everything up and you don't have to turn that AC on for a while. You're going to save a lot of money right there. And it's quiet. And then there's health benefits to QC Colorado. It gets rid of the dust in your house or dander if you got cats, dogs, maybe smoke, maybe a burnt dinner, and you want to get rid of the smoke. You hit that button, bam, anything in your house is going to be sucked up through the attic and all that hot air out and bring in cool, fresh outdoor air. It's so cool, and it's very energy efficient, and they're cheap, okay? I'll be honest, these guys come out, and for the money you save on air conditioning, you're going to be so happy. I want you to check them out at QCColorado.com. Don't be fooled by the competition. You want something that's quiet, that works, and you want a company that's been around a long time to help you if you ever need help with it. QCColorado.com. QCColorado.com. Colorado Springs to Fort Collins, 303-800-3419. Now, let me tell you about John Fuller, Fuller Law. John got involved in 2 accidents we were involved in. One, we got T-boned. One, our daughter got rear-ended. Both times, I'll jump to the great part. Both times, John Fuller got us every penny of insurance they had. He got us the limit. He did the best job possible. And the cool part about working with John is you deal with John. He actually fills in for us right here at the Troubleshooter Show as well. But when you have questions, you talk to the attorney. You're not dealing with 500 other people in these huge firms, all these paralegals and secretaries or whatever. You're dealing with John, and I love that. He's like a quarterback. He can help you maximize the case, get you every nickel that other person owes you. 303-597-4500. Put it in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. 303-597-4500 or call Fuller.com. Last but not least, Zero Res. You want to get those carpets cleaned right now? They got 20% off all carpet and air duct cleaning. If you haven't had them done, it's time to get them done. They use this Zero Res water, which is unbelievable. They come in, no soaps, emulsifiers, and when they're done, your carpet's clean. You ever had your carpet cleaned and 3 or 4 days later, that wine stain that appeared to be gone came back? It happens all the time. It wicks back up. Well, they use this high alkaline, super soft, purified water, and it's one of the best cleaning agents in nature. Like I said, they call it ZR water, and it works along with their technicians that are properly trained and all the great equipment they have. It's safe for kids and pets. In fact, pets, if you have that dander, the cats or the dogs, they get rid of all that. They also do tile and grout cleaning, granite cleaning, upholstery cleaning. We have used them personally at our house, and it was a magnificent job. Call these guys, ask the questions, 20% off, ZeroResDenver.com, ZeroResDenver.com, or 303-471-5150. Get that 20% while it's still here.
Mark, I found that lady's will.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You found the will?
I found
How did you find
the will? It was
will?
filed May of 2025 . Call me
You ready to read it?
investigator soon.
Are you ready to read it?
I'm
Don't
ready
tell
to
me.
read it.
I want him back on.
Get it.
Put him back. Get him back on.
But let's do it. Hold on. I want to talk to them. I'm going to tease it, and we're going to talk about it coming up. We're going to do that. We're going to spend time on
You
that.
found it that quick.
I found it.
That's because they just filed it. Or
I
they
found
filed
who
it.
owned the house, and I
Don't tell
found
us.
her will.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I'm hourly. I charge.
Your son's house looks awesome.
Doesn't it?
It looks like it has a workshop. So
A
is
big
it,
barn.
right?
Yeah, like
Oh,
a
man.
garage.
That thing looks awesome.
And that's so that kind of house is called a modular. It's built just like a stick-built home, like we all live in.
Oh, yeah.
Identical building codes, identical everything, but they put it together on the foundation right there. And then they built that huge garage, not the big garage, but the garage that's on the house.
Mm-hmm.
They added that onto it. It's 4.3 acres.
Yeah.
All the appliances, the house is 2023.
Nice. And like you said, it's 4 miles.
4 miles.
Either way to what he wants to do.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
One road. It's all one road.
The kid has been, he goes fishing on his lunch. He goes fishing after work on the weekends. It's like, oh my gosh. I am
What
fishing.
kind of fishing is he into?
No, he sends us pictures every day of his fish.
Oh, God, yeah.
Catfish, crappie.
Even if they're tiny little guppies, see, we get a picture, or she does.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. My sister's got a duck, and so they're just like the little 3-4 inch bluegills that sing by. But
They're
that's
still
perfect.
fun.
That's perfect for the kids because they have no attention span. So you just put the bait in, they grab it. You know what I mean? So it's
Another
so
one
that's
he-
usually the fishing we do.
rock bass or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't eat fish.
He doesn't.
He would never eat. You couldn't even pay him. If I offered him $1,000 to eat fish, he probably would decline.
Really?
Yes.
So what does he do? Does he throw them back in?
I think it's catch and release. Yeah.
Huh.
Is that funny?
Oh, here it is.
Hello, Gary. It's Kelly again at the Tom Martino Show. So
You don't think I'm losing my hair on that trizepatoid, do you?
Terzepatide?
Yeah.
Oh,
Someone's asking me. I don't see any hair in the shower. I don't think I have any hair loss.
No, I don't think you're losing hair.
I did see that's one of the side effects. Affects few people, but I guess if it does affect you.
Studios. Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors. TrajanWealth.com.
All right, folks, 303-713-8255. I'm going to tease something coming up. Suzanne did some sleuthing around, and tell everybody what you found.
So I found this stepmother's will and also found who owned the house, and I found everything, Mark.
We're gonna get that update. Who owned that guy's house? What was his name? I already forget. What was the caller's name?
Gary?
Gary. We're going to get Gary back up, and we're going to tell him what we found out. But we now know what the stepmother owned. We know what her will said. And we're not talking an old will. We're talking
Yeah,
the
it was
actual.
filed in May.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. The actual will that they filed with the court. So we got a ton of information. We're going to get him back on. And I think, I don't even know the answer yet. I told Suzanne not to tell me, but I'm dying to know, is this caller Gary, is he in the will anywhere? Is he going to get anything? It's crazy, but we're going to find out, so hold tight on that. Then we're going to talk some solar, but real quick, Steve the painter, he has got a deal for listeners. And I need to say this. Steve has worked at our house numerous times. He has painted our garage, and I mean on the inside of it. He has done a ton of touch-up paint, and he's painted our ceilings. If you're looking for that painter, Steve and his wife come out. Hey, Steve, does your daughter still work with you?
Yeah, sure does.
I love it. This guy does a great job, and his pricing is unbelievable. We're going to hear what this special is, but he does interior, exterior. Now, you guys won't do like 3-story homes anymore, right?
No, we do now.
Oh, you do?
I picked up some guys, and you know, Mark, dude, I'll be 69 here. So,
I know, man.
You know, so getting up on the ladders is kind of, and guess what I'm doing today? I'm up on the damn ladder.
Nice.
But anyway.
Well, this guy does. When I say a great job, I mean, he can fix your drywall. Let's say you got a hole in the wall and you need it basically retextured and painted. They can do it all. These guys can do anything. And what is the special going to be? Oh, and by the way, Steve has been on our referral list. Steve, I want to say 20 years.
Darn close, Mark.
I don't remember one, really. I honestly can't think of one single complaint. And the way you matched up some of our paint in the dining room and other areas, weird colors. I don't know how you did it, but you did a lot of touch up when we first moved into that house, and then you painted a lot of rooms. I can't brag enough about you, Steve. Just really good job, and I'll give your number out in a second. But what is the deal you got cooking for people right now?
Well, we got a double whammy. We're going to give 10% off any interior and exterior painting, full paint. But if you're a veteran, we're going to give 15% off.
15% off. Give me an idea of like what a room. I like when people have a real idea. So your average size bedroom, like a kid's bedroom. What is something like that run, man?
Oh, roughly, if we're just doing the walls, you're looking maybe about $425, somewhere close.
Nice.
Yeah, right about $425.
And then you do exterior, interior, anything.
Yeah, inside, outside, fences, decks. Yeah, we do it all. We even do it.
Do you do staining for decks? Maybe someone wants to get a deck restained?
Oh, yeah, we do that also.
Awesome, man.
In between all that stuff, and now we've kind of delved in doing handyman service. So if you needed some base replacement, we've done that.
So like baseboard, how about like a ceiling fan hung?
Ceiling fan's kind of iffy because now we get an electrical.
Okay.
But we delved in it. We did it at our house, but
yeah.
It isn't too difficult. So.
All right. Well, that's it, man. So 10% off, veterans 15. Steve the Painter. They're star quality paint on our referral list at referrallist.com. But you can call up for that deal, 303-948-8765. They're honest. They're going to do a great job for you. Steve the Painter, star quality. Everybody hold tight. We got a lot coming up. I cannot wait. We've got Gary up. We're going to do that update. Then any solar questions you have, 303 Martino, or if you've been ripped off, need some help, need some advice, 303 Martino.
This.
You got Gary back. Follow up. All right, just give me 2 seconds.
Shit, I forgot about spots.
Huh. I got to talk to you about this before.
What's that?
What is a
Retirement Planning Center of the Rockies? I want you to put it all together. It's kind of a family or a team approach to your retirement. They don't just talk about different products they can sell you. They talk really about your cash flow. Are you going to downsize in your house? They're going to talk about income and all their great products, but they're also going to talk about your health care. How about long-term care? People don't think about that. How about your legacy? Maybe you got a business you want to pass on to your kids. They can help you with that. How about Social Security? How to optimize benefits? What plans are right for you when it comes to Medicare and supplements? They'll talk to you about insurance, annuities. And like I said, that long-term care is huge. They also do some estate planning. These guys get invested or vested in your retirement. And trust me, it's never too late and it's never too early to call these guys. rpcenter.com is the website. rpcenter.com. Who was in there? I just made out.
Sales gal.
Which one
She's
is
on
it?
the corner. She's on the corner right as you walk from the men's restroom to the sales. She's on that left.
Oh, was she in there with a client?
I have no idea, but she's in an office.
Got it.
Sue's badge, and I thought
Brooke took her badge by accident.
back in. Did somebody lose their badge?
Yes.
Will you look? Do you have a double one?
Oh,
Because I just
yeah.
I thought it's
Holy cow,
fell
yeah.
out of it. Because
That's okay. No, I didn't even notice that.
You can't trust me anywhere.
Mark, I don't know if you have time to look at this.
Maybe send it to Dan.
Well, I asked Dan if he has time to come back on.
Did you tell him you found the will?
But I also found another document.
Send it to him just for the hell of it. Send it to me. I want to look at it, too.
Okay, so I've got that one, and then this one.
Hey, Brooke, let me show you something. Come over here. So, this took me 2.5 hours. We were talking, she does your content creation,
Sure,
right?
of course, you know where it's at, right, doll?
Let me think of
Hey,
this.
you know this. Let me just point it out to you. It'd be super easy. Here you go. You just need it to get back through that door. So, see the KOA? The door to the left of that? Okay. You just go through there, and the women's restroom's right in that corner. You just need this to get back in that door. Okay.
This took me 2.5 hours. I've got like 9,000 Facebook views. But it's, wait till you see the video I did. It's right here. You can't hear the audio, but you'll get the idea. Basically, I'm saying you got a bad landlord you're dealing with, a bad plumber, a bad electrician. Look at this video.
Yeah.
2.5 hours.
That's amazing.
That's one of our volunteers. I just took a picture of his head, and AI creates exactly what I tell it to create.
Yeah.
I said, I want a video of a HVAC tech ruining someone's furnace. 2.5 hours.
Wow.
So if she's doing that kind of content, it's really cool. It doesn't have to be bad stuff. It can be whatever you want it to be.
No, that's great.
But the program I use, there's a bunch of them, but I got mine from someone that's been doing it a while. It's called runway.ai.
Okay.
And it's fairly inexpensive. You buy credits each month, and you, depending on how long your video is or what you're doing.
Let me write that down.
Runway, just like a runway.ai. I showed it to Fix It 24/7, and she's going haywire with it. But you pretty much name it. You could say, okay, here's my character. The character could be you. It could be your husband. It could be anybody. You have to have a character, though. Here's my character. In scene 1, I want my character installing a solar system on a barn that is 50 by 20 and the barn's red. And everybody's happy and people are looking on and happy they're doing it. Bam. Then you can go in and modify it.
Yeah.
If it's not exactly what you wanted. So the more detailed you are when you tell it what to do.
That's so cool.
Or you can have multiple characters. So you upload character 1, 2, 3, 400. And basically, okay, character 1 and character 4 are in a Corvette and they jump off a bridge.
761-6400. 630 KHOW, an iHeart radio station.
All right, 303-713-8255. We're going to do this now. We're going to have a conversation next hour about AI, too. It is absolutely incredible, but there's some stuff that you might be shocked who's going to lose their jobs first. And, I mean, this could be coming up in a year or so. And a lot of it, of course, is based on my opinion, but then also a ton of research schools and colleges have done on, you might be in college right now getting certain degrees and they could be absolutely worthless. And I'm not kidding. So we're going to talk about that next hour. We're also going to talk about solar. But right now I'm going to bring Gary up. Hey, Gary, Suzanne found out. I got to recap real quick. Gary called in and basically he thought he was going to be getting his father's house when he passed away and some money and part of the estate. And he very well may be, but I don't even know the answer yet. But Father died, got remarried. The woman that basically he remarried still lived in the house, but she just passed away. She passed away, what, Gary, the beginning of the year, basically?
February this year.
So she passed away, and now everybody's got their lips tight, not sharing any information, who owned the house, who gets the money, what does the will look like. Well, we've got some good answers, man. We actually found the will. We're going to email you a copy of it, but we're going to tell you what we found. Suzanne, real quick, did Dan McKenzie, did he return that call?
He has not answered my questions yet.
All right, so send him a copy of that.
I already did that, and it's in your inbox as well.
Excellent. So I'm going to let Suzanne just kind of talk from here out and let you know what she found. But there is some questions, some legalese we might not know the answers to, but Dan will once we get him back involved, which might be tomorrow or when the show's over. But go ahead, Suzanne.
Okay, so curious. First off, Gary, I found out who owns that particular house or who owned that particular house. It was your stepmom, not your dad. She was the only owner of that property address that you sent in Stark County, Ohio.
Did you own it prior? Did your dad own it prior to meeting her?
No, they bought that together.
Okay, technically she was the owner. I don't know how that works with marital property.
Could you see the deed before that?
No, that kind of information I was trying to see who may have owned it before it, and I could not see that information on their website.
There is no doubt, as of this second, she's the only owner.
She was the only owner of that house.
So you were aced out of that,
Mark,
bro.
Open that email I sent you. So this is what's curious. Not the will one, but the other one. I don't know what that document is, but they were the will.
I haven't got it.
Okay, her will and this other document was filed on the same day. So let me tell you what the will said, Gary. I am widowed, not remarried, and have 3 children. And I'm just going to say their first name, Kevin, Stacy, and Don. I give them all of my property. It is to be divided among them. In the will, as I read it, Gary, your name was not mentioned in her will at all, and this was filed in May of 2025. That being said, what I was hoping Mark and Dan McKenzie could look at, on the same day that her will was filed, there is this document. It says surviving spouse, children, next of kin, legalities, and I don't know how to say the word devices. Now, your name was mentioned along with, listed, not mentioned, listed as along with Kevin, Don, and Stacy. But at the bottom of this same document, it says the following are the vested beneficiaries named in the descendants' will. And that was Kevin, Don, and Stacy, not you. I'm just not sure what this document is.
What is the paragraph or sentence when it talks about him and the other kids?
It says the following are descendants, known surviving spouse, children, and lineal descendants of deceased children. If none, the following are descendants next. So you were the next of kin if all those 3 kids died, but you were not mentioned in the will, and I'm very sorry to tell you that.
You were simply in succession.
And the other thing is, I read your dad's will. He was clear. Oh, and I was also going to ask you this.
You found the dad's will.
Well, Gary sent me dad's will.
What did it? Well, let's tell the listeners. So prior to him passing, he did a will. And what did it say?
It said, now that's what I was going to say. Real quick, though, before I read dad's will, Gary, you said you did not think she was of sound mind when she died, or however you put that. For how long do you think she did not have a sound mind? Just if you had to guess.
Well, even before my father passed, she was sleeping like 20 hours a day. And then when she went in the hospice, she was taken care of by Dawn, who I thought maybe took over power of attorney.
What's the date
Because her will was signed by her April of 2024. So after your dad died, but a year before she died. Now, what's interesting is your dad was clearly a lot more generous in his will, naming everything to his wife. And if my wife does not survive me, I 50% to Kevin, like you said, and then the rest divided up between you, Stacy, and Don.
So he wasn't going to ace out her kids.
He wasn't acing out.
But she aced out him.
She did.
Oh, my God. I don't speak wrong of the dead, but that kind of sucks, Gary.
Yeah.
I mean, your dad was like, let's split it between the 4 kids.
Yeah.
And she's like, nah, my kids only. Do you get along with these kids?
No, she forever didn't like me because my dad and I had a very strong confidential relationship, and I think she was always jealous of that. And that she passed that acrimony along to her children. So I was never really a part of that family that much. But my father loved me to death, as you can see by that.
Yeah.
And that's why I was curious if there was any leeway on that, because I know what his sentiments were, but I knew that she had a more acrimonious relationship when it came to me.
So, Gary, what I'm going to do is, just in case I have it all wrong, because I'm not an attorney, that's for sure, I'm going to send you these 2 documents so you have them in your email and you can have an attorney look over them. You can read them yourself, whatnot.
Yeah. And then we sent him to Mackenzie, and he'll give us some feedback. We'll send you that as well. But Gary, sorry, man, but I am glad we got to the bottom of it. You didn't have to hire another attorney. We got it. Suzanne got it figured out for you.
Well, thank you so much. I do appreciate that. And my intuition was that she would probably lock me out of that, just given the tenor of the family relationships at the time.
Yeah, that sucks, man. Hey, Gary, I appreciate it. And, bless you. And I hope everything's cool with the rest of your life. And I'm glad you called the show. 303-713-8255. We got lines open. Love to hear from you. Hold tight.
How was that?
He got aced out, boy.
That's rough. How do you do that, though? Like, when that's clear?
Merchant sent you another deal.
Okay. Do you want to show Ian real quick what you were showing me?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me do this commercial. Let me see if I have a commercial. Oh, I got 3 of them. Hold on. You know, I'm dealing with John at CMG right now, or actually my son is. He's buying his first house. We're so proud of him out in Nebraska. You know, CMG Mortgage, these guys operate in every state, and they're the lender. That's the part I love about John. You know, he's in underwriting right now. And if there's questions from the underwriter, if you've ever bought a house before and you've used your typical mortgage loaner, they got to say, oh, let me reach out. The underwriter needs this and blah, blah, blah. Well, the underwriter's like in the same building as John. He works for CMG. CMG is the lender. There is no middlemen to deal with. You're going to get the best rates. What I love is how much money they save our older population on reverse mortgages. Yeah, reverse mortgages, you're not allowed to charge over a certain amount, but you can sure charge less, and that's what CMG does. They're purely volume. Listen to this. Over $2 billion with a B, $2 billion a month in direct lending. That's CMG every month. I don't know anybody else that does that many in the mortgage business. That's what these guys do. They are the bank. Cut out the middlemen, go direct, and their all-in-one loan is phenomenal. It's a 30-year line of credit on 80% of the equity in your house. They can't take it away for 30 years. You can use it anytime you want. You can pay it down, pay it up. 30 years. It's incredible. Maybe you're a contractor and you have different projects out there and need access to cash. You can take it out. When you're finished with the job, you get paid by your client and you put it back in your line of credit and you have it for 30 years. Suzanne and I have that on our house and we absolutely love it. It's also offset by money in the bank. It's the best product out there, but they do it all. They'll get you the best 20-year, 30-year mortgage. They'll get you the best reverse, and they're the only ones that I know that do the all-in-one. Call John, 303-882-6679. Even if you're staring at a deal from another lender right now, he's going to beat the heck out of it. 303-882-6679. Go direct, CMG Mortgage, or check John out at partnerinlending.com. Partnerinlending.com. Now, let's talk it. Fix It 24/7. I say it all the time. Get a second opinion. If someone gave you a quote on a furnace, that exact same furnace you might be able to save $5,000 on. Same with the water heater. Same with the new electrical panel. Same with an air conditioner. Get the free, 100% free, no trip charge, no shenanigans, a free second opinion from Fix It 24/7. These guys do it all. Electric, heating, cooling, drain cleaning. You get the idea. FixMyHome.com is the website. Go there now. Call up. Get the second opinion. FixMyHome.com. Now, you want to be a realtor but have no idea what you're doing? Call up Barry Miller. He'll find you the right property to buy. He's going to find the right people to manage the property. He's going to find a property that's going to increase in value quicker than most properties around the country. That's what he does. He makes sure you have good tenants through the proper management company, and when the house goes up in value, you sell it and you make the big bucks. Check out VesteraTurnkey.com. VesteraTurnkey.com. Okay, come on over here. So this one took me about 3 hours because I did a voiceover on it. Videos. So it's 31 seconds, and it's got, my Facebook's got, I think, 8,000 so far. In fact, hold on. I'm just going to show it to you in a different way so you can hear it.
So we're a call-in radio show, sir. So we only do on-air calls.
So it's gotten 7,108 shares.
And this is an AI?
It's total 100% AI.
We're passionate about Have you been ripped off or taken advantage
This
of
was
by
from a year ago?
contractor, a shady mechanic, or perhaps you're dealing with a scumbag landlord? For over 45 years, we've been helping people like you recover money.
That's my character he works for us.
Oh, that's cool.
Just a guy who took a picture of his head. And then you tell him what to
That
do.
we do recommend all the time is Compass Insurance. And did you want to go on air to get Mark's knowledge about this?
And then she sent me, I think, the link to use that.
Yep. So you do a subscription. Mine, I think, is $35 a month, and you get maybe 1,500 credits a month. Something like that. Once you learn to use it, something like that might use 300 credits.
Okay.
So you could do a bunch of those. And if you're only doing like TikTok content and shit, 10-second stuff, one scene stuff. But you can, anything you can imagine. You could be like, character 1 is in a Corvette, character 2 is in a Viper, and they're racing around a track, and someone jumps on the track, and then a chicken runs out and lays an egg, and then the spaceship blows up behind. Whatever the fuck you tell it to do, it creates.
They'll do it. That's cool.
It's ridiculous.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah, so we should start using that.
You might even go like, did you use a shady, or do you have a broken solar system and there's panels hanging off the house or a battery not working? Mm-hmm. We repair everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing, though, is detach and resets, because people don't understand that, like,
maybe a roofer fucking up someone's shit.
Right, because roofing companies are great at roofs, but they don't understand how to do flashing for the solar panels.
Yeah.
Like, we've been up there tons of times, and their brand new roof is already leaking.
Maybe a new roof's up and the house is leaking a week later in scene 2.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 303-7. Jeez Louise, I thought that was music, bro.
Okay, Tom.
No! No! At least it was an iHeart promo.
I need the code from your phone for this.
Be 10 seconds, Tom.
And former Representative Ted Poe and more on the Joe Pag Show. Tonight from 6 to 9 on 630 KHOW.
All right, we got a lot cooking. Next hour, we're going to be talking some solar. Of course, we're always, calls come first. 303 Martino, ripped off, taking advantage of. I want to hear from you. But we're also going to be talking about some of the jobs AI is going to be taken away probably in the next year. And a lot of college kids out there, I want you to kind of pay attention to this, but AI is getting to the point. I can't even believe it, but we are going to dive into that. Now, I'm going to start this call with Mickey, and if we got to bring you over, Mickey, we'll do that. You know, my mom's name is Michelle. She goes by Joan, but everybody, all of her siblings call her Mickey, and I don't think besides Mickey Mouse I've ever heard that name before. Mickey, go ahead.
Hi. I don't know if you're on a particular subject or not, but about a year ago, you had someone on from Compass Insurance, and Tom, or the guy from Compass, talked about a list that he had of insurance companies that he wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, good ones and the bad ones. And I'm wondering if I could find out about what that list is again. I was driving and couldn't copy it down.
Well, I mean, the list, I can get it. You know what? That's not a bad deal. What I'll do is, after the break, I'll get Brian back on. I'm going to tell you my opinion based on a million calls that I've taken at this point. The worst out there, in my opinion, is Fred Loya for auto insurance. I don't think they do home, but they just fight their own clients. They fight other people that were harmed. Those guys just put up a fight. And one of the things John Fuller, one of our personal injury attorneys who I love, taught me is that when they actually print out the application for their car insurance product, people deny MedPay. MedPay costs almost nothing. So let's say you're paying $2,000 a year for auto insurance. MedPay might cost you another $30, and it's no questions asked money. It's the easiest coverage to use, and there's just no questions asked. If you get into an accident and someone's hurt in your car, you can use MedPay, and it's dirt cheap. But when they print out the applications, according to Fuller, they literally check the box, you deny it. That's how sneaky they are. And in the state of Colorado, you have to give MedPay unless if the client declines it. So they make the choice for you because they know it's a loser for them. Now, Tom and I disagree on one. Allstate. And here's the only reason I say that. In some communities, and I'm dealing with one right now in Nebraska, Allstate is half the price of anybody else. I don't know why. I have no idea. Same coverage, half the price of stuff we're looking at that's rural. So maybe in Nebraska, when it comes to rural property, they have just made themselves the cheapest. And I've got some other good examples too, but Kelly, let's get Brian Burns on, and I want to talk to him about this, and we've got a lot more coming up right here on the Troubleshooter Show. Please don't forget, 303 Martino, 1 hour coming up. Love to hear from you. 303 Martino works on and off the air. Help at troubleshooter.com. Hang tight. We're also going to be talking to Brooke and how you can get a free commercial solar system.
He does. Like Dennis Smith, I've been emailing all week. We're not going to send him out a weekly email. Yeah, exactly. He wants to do cool custom stuff for us. You should go. Oh. Placards are boring for us. So, like, on paperwork, so if you, let's say you did an install, you should be able to just apply.
I sent you what they said. Did you read it?
Oh, no, let me see. Okay.
So, these things are either stickers or placards, depending on what they're required to show and how long they need to last for. And And so what placards are is they're just like metal, like this right here would be on a placard, this caution thing. They're a metal.
So interesting. We'll look up CMT.
Paper, like half the thickness of your phone, and you have somebody engrave this design on them.
I don't know.
Anything. He wants to do this.
Constant.
So if
Yeah,
you're
okay, it is
saying we need
CMT.
this in red ×2 for the install crew, that's what a placard is. Or like Black Hills requires certain stuff. You can't see it here, but like they have some.
Hey, Kel, did you hear he wants Brian Burns on? Okay, cool.
This has to be placards instead of a sticker. Yes, it just depends on what jurisdiction and what they're requiring. And then this shows where all those stickers are supposed to go, or placards. Yeah.
So it's 4.0. I'm sorry, 4.07 plus.
You could literally do you could buy
407 plus 3. So right now it's 7.7%, 7.07. That's actually, I thought it was going to be like 7.5. But this says we're actually locked in at that 5% till October. You know, if I knew that, if I fucking knew our rate was that low, I might have done something with that dough, but it doesn't matter now.
Car insurance and homeowners insurance. All right. Hang on.
I had no idea our rate was that low.
You could, I don't know, whatever you want to do. He also has a wood shop. Just super bored. How do you guys feel about nuclear?
Power?
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah?
It's clean. Gives you a nice tan.
A nice glow.
Enough about that stuff to have an opinion.
I forget which one we have now. It's either fission or fusion. And if we can convert to the other kind, there's no waste, there's nothing, but it's obviously harder to figure out. Whereas with the way it has now, you've got the nuclear waste that has to go down in the bunkers or whatever in Nevada.
Okay.
But Carter was a nuclear physicist for the Navy. So that's why he was trying to put a lot of nuclear plants when he was president. Which I didn't know about either.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of a fun fact? So yeah. I think it's got a lot of muddied water. People either love it or they hate it. And so I just didn't know if you guys had an opinion. I like to hear what you guys think about stuff because you guys just always have a different take on it, and I think that's important.
I have no problem with
I think it's a cool way
nuclear.
to do it.
I can't wait till they have like in Back to the Future, a little reactor this big that you just put on the side of your house, and there's your power. You know what I mean?
There you are. Instead of a propane tank, it's your little
It's a little reactor.
Cool.
Oh, it'll be here. Probably not in our lifetimes, but
Yeah.
Brooke, when's the last time you cut your hair? How many years has it been?
It's not.
Because it's long.
It is long. Yeah.
What, 10 years?
No. I mean, I cut it every 3 months or so or whatever you're supposed
Do
to.
you take a good amount off of it?
No.
You just.
The last time it was really cut, I was at this hairdresser after I had either Beckett or Mel. Jess was postpartum, and she chopped it. She took a foot off, and
it was still long.
And I cried. I've never cried before.
Have you always just had really long hair?
It's always been at least shoulder length or down. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now it's annoyingly long. Where Aaron and I will be cuddling, and he'll move, and it's take your hair off. But I love it. I never had it this long until pregnancy, and it just grows so fast.
Yeah, mine does too.
You know?
Nuclear fusion is the goal. Fission is what we have now. Not that Brooke is watching, LOL. Nice, Tim. Well, that's what I'm here for, to relay your messages.
Glad that guy was able to help. Mike used to live like 3 miles. Well, they're talking about in Pennsylvania. And there's some debate as to there's a abnormal amount of cancer in that area. It's rural Pennsylvania. There's a little documentary or like a video thing you can watch on it.
Good afternoon. Tom Martino Show. Hello. How are you? Yeah, no problem. I've got you coming up in the next spot, so just hang on for me and we'll get you right up there, okay? Uh-huh.
Most of these are already done this week. We need to, has Pikes Peak called back yet at all? We might need to go in person.
K-How.
Ripped off, bad news. You need advice so you don't have to lose. We'll come running just as fast as we can. Troubleshooter's gonna help the common man.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
Welcome, my friends, to the only show of its kind. We go after the bad guys. We've been doing this for over 45 years. You've been ripped off or taken advantage of. I'll tell you what, we have got a record that's unbelievable. Over $300 million, arguably coming up on $400 million in cash merchandise, exchanges, refunds. And then that doesn't include all the advice people learn so they don't get ripped off. If you have any question, you want to tell everybody about a bad guy, this is the place for you. You can check us out every single day, of course, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Mountain Time, where you can check us out on the iHeart app at any time or wherever you get your podcasts. And then, of course, our YouTube channel. You can actually watch us and listen to us, and you can hear us during the breaks. You go to YouTube, type in Troubleshooter Network. All right, 303-713-8255. So Brooke White is with me with Red Rock Solar. We're going to be talking to her about commercial systems and this grant money where she has literally gotten people 100%. In fact, even better than that. Sometimes she's gotten people 120% of the cost of the commercial solar system. We're going to dive into that and some other stuff into solar. We're going to talk a little AI, but right now Mickey called up, and Brian Burns, he's our expert with Compass Insurance. Brian, first of all, thanks for coming on as always. How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. Did you buy that Tesla yet? You keep telling me you're going to get one.
I know. I keep toying around with it, but I haven't done it yet. I just need to take yours for a week, and then we'll decide.
You know, I actually wouldn't mind that. We're going out of town. No, I'm not kidding. I wouldn't mind. We'll be out of town 3 days, and I would not mind that at all, man. So if you really want to do that, I think that's a great idea, as long as you gas it up when you're done. How's that?
There you go. Exactly.
So listen, Mickey was listening a long time ago. I don't know when it was. And I guess Tom and I, or you and Tom, were having the conversation about insurance companies that are just horrible. And honestly, I disagree with Tom on some. Allstate, I happen to find out in Nebraska, in a rural community right now, they're really the only game. They're half price of anybody else. And a lot of people, because of wind and hail, pulled out of new business. They don't even do business in this part of Nebraska, but that's kind of the same with Colorado. I mean, a lot has changed here. And what I have come to understand, especially through your education of me when it comes to insurance companies at different times do what's right for the insurance company. Progressive at a certain time might be targeting people with young drivers in the house and have the best rates. Then all of a sudden, a couple years later, they might have the worst rates for new drivers. A company might be in California this year, but because of wildfires aren't doing new business. But then all of a sudden, a few years from now, they might be aggressively in that market again. I mean, they constantly change, right?
No, you're exactly right. That's probably a better way to phrase it. It's the thing is what is why anybody would want to go to someone that can only do that one carrier because of the reason you're saying. It fluctuates so dramatically. It's like one year you have a company that's really aggressively trying to write business, and then all of a sudden their rates go way up because they're really wanting to get out of a certain area. But that agent, it's not their fault. They have no other option. So they have to convince you why you should stay put. So
here's what I do.
True.
Here's what I do each year. In fact, right now is very unique. Every single policy I have, I've got a RV policy, a motorcycle policy, a trailer policy, a typical auto policy, an umbrella, a business policy, and a homeowner's policy. At this very second, every single one I have is through you. There has been a time where I had, I think it was Mutual Liberty or Liberty Mutual or something. At one point, you couldn't beat something, and I had a different one. So I did shop, and I do shop. There's no doubt about that, but you shop the majority of them for me. Now, saying that, I shopped you for my son in Nebraska, and you were the first one to tell me, I do not like these rates, Mark. I don't know what's going on in that town or that area of the country, because you don't really specialize in Nebraska. You can quote some stuff, but not everything. And the bottom line was State Farm had better coverage than what you could offer. Who was the one you sent me?
You mean Allstate, I think, right?
Or Allstate. I don't remember. Yeah. Honest to God, I don't remember if it's State Farm or Allstate. I just don't remember.
So in the certain areas, obviously Colorado, we have a lot of companies.
Yep.
In Nebraska, we had, I told you, like 3 carriers is all I could quote.
Compared to 20.
The rate came back with Safeco, I think, or Travelers, one of the two, and it was really high. So I told you, look, get an agent that's in the area there.
Exactly.
Because they might be able to offer you something different.
Well, and funny enough, I got a broker like you in the area, and they couldn't even beat yours from out of state. So that's when
which is crazy.
That's when I called Allstate and State Farm, and one of them, I'm so sorry I forget, I really do think it's State Farm, just kicked the crap out of all of them. I mean, they must do a ton of that rural kind of community business.
Right. Yeah, very well could. Yeah, and when you run into a situation where just the rates just seem exorbitant, it's it's fair. I mean, I have someone I was working with just recently that it was a home that got non-renewed in the middle of nowhere, and I'm looking everywhere, and I ended up calling State Farm to see if I could get a quote from them just to help this person out. I did. But it ended up that I found a better option going excess. But I'm with you. I'm just trying to find whatever's the best option for somebody.
Now, I will say this, and I told Mickey this. One of the ones we get more complaints on than any other company that I can think of when it comes to car insurance is Fred Loya. I have heard from people that have Fred Loya and people that have been hit by someone that has Fred Loya. And I have never heard so many nightmare stories, and they're constant. They seem to just totally just neglect everybody. So therefore, hey, if we don't see it or hear about it or call you back, there must not have been a problem. I mean, to me, that's how they operate, but that's my opinion. But what companies do you think suck? I'll just put it that way.
I will say, and I don't know if I would be quite as crass as saying suck, because I don't know if that would be the descriptive. But to your point, the ones that we seem to have a lot of issues with, I do think Fred Loya is way up there. And really, if you think of Fred Loya, they really do specialize in more of the high-risk type of business.
These are people that have had, not all of them, don't get me wrong, but these are people that have to have SR22s. They might have multiple DUIs. They might have one of those blow meters that are in your car, whatever they're called. I mean, they're high-risk people.
Right. So you're naturally going to have some more issues. It's going to be lower coverages because people are just trying to afford it at that point. So you're going to see that it's a very scaled down policy. And in all honesty, most of the problems, not all, but most of the problems I get involved with from the show there is because it's not a good policy. In other words,
it's not good coverage.
Purchased endorsements. They haven't, and they've done what they could to keep the price down. But then when you have a loss, you have to understand that there's going to be more exclusions on those type of policies. So to me, if people want that, I'm totally open to that. I just want to make sure they understand what they have.
So the general's another one, but going back to your point, and then Mickey, I'll let you ask questions, but I hope you're learning from this conversation too, Mickey, like everybody listening. But the other thing, what baffles me, Brian, and we've talked about it when you're here on the show, is when it comes to uninsured and no insured insurance for yourself. I know people that at one point had liability insurance of, say, $250,000. That's a lot of liability insurance for a lot of people. And that would cover most people's assets. That's just the way it is. Not everybody's, but a lot of people's. So you might not need any more insurance than that. But in the same breath, they don't have any uninsured or underinsured. So they're insuring everybody else out on the road. In case they do something wrong, they're helping everybody else out. But if somebody, and in the state of Colorado, I think it's like over 40% have the lowest coverage or no coverage. If those people hit you, you didn't spend a few extra bucks to actually insure yourself. So you get the same thing as if you hit somebody.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, two of the carriers that I see this most common with is one is State Farm, and I don't understand it. I don't know if it's just an attempt to keep the price down.
It's sneaky.
But it's crazy to do it. You want to at least match your uninsured motorist to your bodily injury. But the other one I see all the time is Geico, and that's because people do it themselves and they see that it lowers the rate, but they don't really understand what it's doing. But you're ultimately, like you said, covering yourself for less than you're covering other people.
It's ridiculous. We have had so many calls where people, their lives are changed, at least for the short term, like a year or two. They can't work, they can't do anything, and the only thing they get is $25,000 or zero.
Right.
So Mickey, hearing all of this, what questions do you have for Brian? This guy lives and breathes insurance companies.
Okay. My current insurance company is Travelers. The thing I'm concerned about most is the quality of the insurance, not necessarily the price. If I get the cheapest price and I have a claim and I have to jump through 10 or 12 different hoops, it's not worth it. So what companies, if you have a list, are quality companies that I can rely on and then compare prices with those?
Well, Brian, I promise I'll let you talk a lot. But Mickey, just a couple things for people listening. One, it's not necessarily the cost of insurance. You have to compare the insurance itself, and I think you're kind of going there. But you might be underinsured on your house, for example, like 95 or 98% of the people in Boulder were when we had those Boulder fires. 98% were underinsured. They couldn't even rebuild their house with the insurance money because it wouldn't even cover it, and they were still paying a mortgage on a burned down house. So having the proper coverage is number one. And then Brian can search 20, I don't know, how many, Brian, and make sure not only do you have the proper coverage, Mickey, and you really need to talk to somebody. If it's not Brian and you don't know what that proper coverage is, that's the most important part. Then after that, you start looking at price. But Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the the biggest deal, like I just mentioned, is to make sure you have the right coverages on your policy, that you're working with someone that can actually explain it to you. With that said, there are carriers that are easier to work with when there's a claim. You could talk to a Excel Roofing and they would tell you that. I would say, to me, Travelers is fantastic, by the way. They always get good reviews as far as from J.D. Powers and all that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you, my favorite carrier, the carrier I never have issues with when there's a claim, is a company called Acuity. They are not always the cheapest, but man, when they pay, they're one of the only carriers I know that if there's a roof claim, they just pay the entire amount. They don't
no corners cut.
Yeah, they just pay it, and then they just tell you go do it. And if you end up having a bigger bill than that, send it to them. They'll pay it. They pay so quickly and without problem. Another carrier is Pure, but again, that's kind of a high value carrier. They do the same kind of thing, but you have to have a bigger dwelling amount. But I would tell you, Travelers truly is in that top echelon of carriers as far as just companies to deal with when there's a claim.
Okay. That's what I was curious about, so you have answered my question.
And you should, Mickey, honestly, and I'm going to put you on hold and lock Brian in, but Mickey, you really should, if you haven't shopped in a while, there's nothing to lose. You call up Compass and they'll tell you if you have the proper coverage, and in your case, that's probably the numero uno right there. And then, depending on if you have Travelers for car insurance, if you didn't bundle, Brian, it seems like bundling with all these companies, I mean, that's how you actually save money. If you don't bundle, I mean, these guys are 20-30% higher, all of them.
Yeah, you almost always are rewarded to bundle the package together. There's certain times where it doesn't make sense, but yes, you're right. It almost always does.
And then the other thing I want to give out for listeners is, listen to this. Renter's insurance. My God, I forced our kids to have renter's insurance. I said, you're going to buy it and show me the policy. I don't care what the landlord says. Renter's insurance is massive, not only for the liability, but for your own contents. And my God, Brian, I think Adeline's renter's policy was $70 a year you got her. $70 a year, and it covers up to, way more than what her crap's worth,
Yeah, and it gives you the liability, which is what you really want.
Well, yeah, you accidentally set your neighbor's wall on fire or something. Boom, you're not paying for it. The liability insurance is there.
Right. Yep.
Hold on, Brian. Do me a favor. Hold on. I got someone asking another question on insurance, but I am so far back on this break. Dragon literally, and I mean literally, just threw a grenade at me. Ladies, I promise I'm going to hit you hard here.
No, you're fine. We get it. I'm trying to figure out what to grab for lunch. What's in the area?
I don't eat lunch.
Oh, okay.
There's a ton around here, though. You guys want like a sit-down place?
Nah, something quick. We got to pop up to Longmont today.
Joe Chiano, my buddy, my friend. I love Joe and Jordan over at Become the Banker. You know what we talk about every weekend is money, 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 retirement, safe retirement, the ups and downs of the stock market. And I love doing it. One of the biggest questions I get, though, Joe, literally, I'll get people going, well, okay, I've heard a lot of bad things about some of the annuity products. So what is the misconceptions of annuities?
Yeah, Mark, there's a lot of misinformation, and people are really getting confused. Like I heard somebody say the other day that when you buy an annuity, your money's tied up, that you can't take it out. That's not the case. The new annuities will allow the client to take money out of their annuities every single year without a penalty.
Yeah, you don't even have to pay it back.
You don't have to pay it back. But if you want to pay it back, you can certainly pay it back. So that's misinformation that people are getting.
I'll tell you another big one.
Looked up.
There must have been annuities back in the day that did nothing. We had a call on our weekend show there, Joe, where the guy had a bad annuity. He was an older guy, but had one when he bought it. What was he, like 30 or 40? And 20 years later, it was like $18,000. And 20 years later, it was worth like $19,000. We were laughing because he would have done better doing he could have went to Vegas and done better.
That is right. No, he got to go to the credit union, got a CD. But our annuities will grow when the stock market grows.
We have worked up stuff. I'm sorry to jump over you, Joe, but you and I have personally worked up numbers for people that are incredible. Like a 40-year-old, I think it was 40, we did it last weekend, $1 million annuity. When they turned 70, they had basically $500,000 for life every single year. $500,000 coming in, guaranteed money forever. And if they fell ill, that second part would kick in and they would have $1 million a year. And tell people what I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh, the long-term care. And long-term care is real, Mark.
Oh, God.
Right now, the average cost of long-term care is over $10,000 a month. I cannot afford to buy a long-term care policy.
No.
So our annuities have it built in.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Added benefit.
And if you try to go out and literally buy a long-term care policy, they're so expensive you'll never buy them, and a lot of them are crap. I'll just say what they are. And then the other thing, and the last thing I want everybody to know about Joe and Jordan, Joe's a fiduciary. He's never going to steer you wrong. He's going to match up the right product for you. They got annuities you can buy. Maybe you're retired and you sold the house and you're going to move into a condo and you got that big stack of cash from the proceeds of the house. There's annuities you can buy instantly and turn them on literally in 30 days and have that guaranteed money for the rest of your life. And by the way, when you do pass, the entire value of the account goes to your beneficiary. You never lose any money. In fact, you're guaranteed never to lose any principal. It's incredible. Go to mymoneymyway.com or call up and talk to Joe. Ask him. Say, hey, I'm 40 years old. How much will I have in 20 years, 30 years? Ask him the questions. You're going to love the answers. 303-779-6600. 303-779-6600. Or check Joe and Jordan out at mymoneymyway.com. Thanks, Joe.
Check it out. And very little people spoke English, and everything was in Japanese.
I'll do Excel when we come back in, so fire it off. I'll do it in content.
I think there was only one time at one.
And then you have 4 house spots that don't look finished.
Who should I do?
Well,
let me see what I got.
Fix It, Renew, K&H, and Genesis.
English, yeah.
I marked off Dan McKenzie.
I definitely did fix it.
Okay, I marked off Dan McKenzie for tomorrow since we had him on.
I did K&H was probably not a recorded.
No, it was a lot.
I'm going to do Genesis.
Surprising how much English is everywhere.
I mean, listen.
What fast foods around here? They were wondering. Is there like Qdoba? I just don't know any of the restaurants.
Yeah.
And then English.
What are you looking like? Fast food, like McDonald's fast, or like
Adam was
Qdoba?
like convinced the first time after he.
Okay, so if you go, let me send.
Everything's in English.
My biggest gripe.
Oh, there's that. What is that one? It's similar, but it's a name. It's somebody's name. Pete's. Illegal Pete's.
Illegal.
I love Illegal
They're
Pete's.
right down the street.
Yeah, I go to Illegal Pete's all the time. They've got a South Broadway location.
Dry their hands with.
Isn't that like? Isn't it like casual? But there's a bar scene too.
Okay.
Dry my hands. But
that's
like stuff are putting in bars too, like the one off.
You're drinking Chipotle.
In Vegas, Taco Bell's got a bar.
If you go up to
It's massive.
Do you guys go north or south when you leave?
We gotta go to the long today.
Yeah.
So north,
And, like
you go up one exit to Hamden.
like the fountain drinks.
There's like a Fuzzy's Taco or Taco Torchy or something. There's a little bit more variety on that on the right, on the east side of the highway there.
Like in the hotel, I was like, have and see ice.
And then right here at Bellevue Station, like you can see, there's a Tap and Burger, but that's not fast food. I think that's more like, sit down.
Yeah.
The thing, kind of.
So the only missing piece I have for tomorrow is Euro's agreement, Mark.
What is that, babe?
The only missing piece I have for tomorrow.
Your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Denver's talk station, 630 KHOW.
Genesis Total Exterior. Man, I love Mark Szymanski. He's the owner. And by the way, that's Genesis, like as in the beginning. This guy has done so much work at our house. It's remarkable. In fact, they just finished up. Suzanne, what do you think of the paint job inside?
I just love it, Mark. It's beautiful, and the paint is wonderful.
And how about the experts they send out? You spent like an hour with her.
Yeah, 2 hours, and it was so nice.
This wall, this color, and this room,
She
this
took
color.
everything in our house into consideration when
Flooring,
helping
everything.
me with the colors.
And then the final job, it took them about a week. We literally had the entire house, the interior painted. And they did the exterior of our house 3 or 4 years ago. Looks
That's
brand
right.
new.
It's gorgeous.
And you were actually, just to touch on that, if I recall, you wanted to paint, and I bet a lot of people do this after a hailstorm, the exact same color our house was.
Well, yeah, so not to get too long-winded, but when we lived in Castle Rock and built that house, I really wanted a yellow house, and you did not. So when we moved into Franktown that was already built, it was yellow-ish, and I wanted just the same color because I loved it so much.
Until the color lady came out.
That's right.
That sounds screwed up, doesn't it? Until the color lady comes. Okay, well, people know what I meant. But anyhow, it's great. They come out.
The consultant came out, and I just I love it more than I would have ever loved the yellow.
And here's the other thing Mark and the gang do. Anything exteriors. I mean, they do siding, stucco. Their pricing on stucco, it'll amaze you how cheap they are. But right now, decks, gazebos, anything like that, check out GenesisTotalExteriors.com. You're going to love Mark. You're going to love him. In fact, the painters that did our house, listen to this. They've been with Mark and the gang for 20 years. Genesis Total Exteriors. Now, I digress. I'm going to go to this one call, then we're going to talk solar because people have to know how to get a free or possibly a free commercial system. But real quick, Mike, what is your question on car insurance?
Hey, Mark, I was shopping insurance, and I had Allstate tell me that for uninsured motorist coverage, you have to buy it per car in Colorado. It doesn't stack. But then State Farm told me that you can just have it on one car and it applies to all vehicles on your account. So one of them's lying. I'm trying to figure out which one's right.
Yeah, hey, Brian, I mean, I'm trying to think. I haven't looked at my deck page in a while, but I thought on my deck page, I have Safeco, right?
You do, yep.
And isn't it on each vehicle?
No, it's a policy total. And to answer your question on that, it used to be on a per car basis, but what ended up happening is insurance companies got sued because they were not allowing it to be stacked. In other words, trying to get double the limit because you have it on more than one car. So what they did, I don't know any carriers that don't do it as a one amount over the entire policy now. That's just how every carrier I work with does. It's just a policy total. It does change prices as you add vehicles, but it doesn't go on to any one particular vehicle.
And then how about like with Safeco real quick, Brian, because we have 5 vehicles. Doesn't that 5th vehicle have its own or no?
Nope, you can actually exclude the uninsured motorist on the way that they do it on the 5th because it's still a policy total, and then you just reference the other policy. And
so really,
the uninsured motorist.
Really, the reason the insurance companies do it this way is to save their own asses, so they're not paying out double, triple, quadruple. Mike, you got any other questions?
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, man. You know, insurance is crazy, Brian. No matter how we look at it, it just constantly changes all the time.
It does.
And people out there, and I'm going to say this, here's something we never hit on with Brian, even workman's comp, if you own a construction company, any kind of liability insurance, garage. I used to have Goodyear stores, and we had garage keepers, whatever that's called in your industry. These guys shop it all. They'll save you a lot of money. All you got to do is go to quotecompass.com, quotecompass.com, or their phone number is so easy. Hey, Brian, I appreciate you coming on. And seriously, if you want to use that car for a few days, we're out, I think, the 4th, 5th, 6th?
Yeah, you can use it.
Yeah, Brian, I'm not kidding.
You might just move into your house, Mark. I don't know.
Well, I think
it's a short.
You might like our house sitter. Our house sitter is 84 years old. Now, actually, she's a great woman. We love Connie. Anyhow, Brian, I do appreciate you coming on. QuoteCompass.com. If you haven't checked in a while, you have to. 303-996-9000. Now, Brooke, I want to talk about grants. When it comes to commercial systems, we've talked about tax credits, but when it comes to solar, if the big, beautiful bill does go through, the residential tax credits will be gone, correct?
Yep, that is correct.
But there's still going to be commercial tax credits.
Yep, commercial tax credits are good until 2032.
And
as
you
of right
guys
now.
do a ton of commercial.
We do, yep. And then if you have a nonprofit business, you can get your tax credits as rebates up until January 1st of 2027.
Now, you were telling me about a guy, Suzanne, somebody on YouTube said something about her. What was it?
Said, I will have to find the comment, but just said Brooke was awesome to work with. Couldn't wait to get his system lit up.
And you knew who it was. Who was it?
Oh, yeah, Charlie Crouch. He's awesome.
So Charlie, in his example, because we were talking about it, asking you who he was. So he had a garage that's not attached, a detached garage, and you actually set that up so he could benefit from tax credits. And I don't know if he did grants or not, but as a commercial, because it wasn't attached to his house, right?
Yep, as long as it's not attached to the house itself, you guys can qualify for a variety of things. So we've actually had REAP grants work that same way when they were still around last year. So you can't install solar panels for commercial purposes on a residential house.
Even if you have like an office in the house or something, you just can't do it.
You just can't do it. But if you do it on a detached building, then it's under different rules and regulations.
And then you can get to tax credits.
Yep.
That's interesting, but he still sells power back to the grid. Everything else is the same.
It's net metered the same way as a residential one.
It's kind of a loophole. I mean, really, you guys found a loophole.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. There's another big loophole when it comes to some projects I'm going to talk about after this. And some of that grant money's still out there, right?
Yep.
And people can still get, if everything works out, you can talk to them about it, and the project's right in the right area, literally they can get up to 110, 120% of the system paid for.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Can you imagine? Not only do you get a free commercial solar system that's generating power, maybe you own a fourplex and these are your tenants, and now you're the electric company, but you get the system not only for no money, but more than that. It's crazy.
What do you guys got going on this afternoon? You look like you're ready for a nap.
I'm going to bug her to get a beer. I hope she will.
Ooh. And then we got Costco, Sam's Club, and a gift card to pick up.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Bath rugs to return. It's riveting after.
Oh, isn't it?
Those damn bath rugs, we bought them like 3 times now.
Are you serious?
Different colors and they all suck.
Mark didn't like the stark white. I liked them, but he wasn't crazy about them. And then got a gray, but it was too dark.
But she loves that particular
Yeah, they do.
feel.
They have that luxurious sort of towels and bath. Oh, I thought you were doing a spot.
No, I love Costco, but I've banned Aaron from.
I'm going to be using you in this.
The last 2 times we spent like $2,000, and I'm like, no, I can do this on my
Hold on.
own. Thank you. He's the worst.
TheArtofGranite.com. You know, I talk about him so much. I'm going to let Suzanne talk about him. How about our master bathroom he just did?
Mark, it is stunning. My quartz is absolutely gorgeous.
He used our existing cabinets in there. We had the bathroom remodeled, but the cabinets are just gorgeous, so we didn't want to get rid of them. Mitch came in with his guys. They did all the measurement and just did the best job ever. How about the kids' bathroom upstairs?
I love it. That's been done a while, and I love it.
He did cabinets. He did everything in that one. His line of cabinets, not only are they affordable, they look like they could be in $1 million homes. And then, what else did he do?
He did our laundry room, but you want to know what I want to say, Mark, is that what was great about Mitch is I have no eye for color. So when he actually came out to our house,
That's right.
looked at our cabinetry, and then he sent me his ideas for what he thought would look good, it was perfect.
And check this out. When we went to his yard, he had a ton of stuff, but not exactly what you wanted from his samples. He just didn't have a piece that big. So what did he do?
Send us to another warehouse. I don't know.
He sent us to this massive warehouse downtown that's got more granite quartz and countertops than I've ever seen in my life. It was like Broncos Stadium. And we used his wholesale account because theartofgranite.com only charges for the installation and the fabrication. And right now, I wish we waited. If you get the kitchen done, you get the bathroom for free. The best prices, the best service, the best people. The, as in THE, artofgranite.com. Theartofgranite.com. Something very important. We've talked about it all day. Home services. If you need an air conditioner this time of year and someone hits you up with some quote that's $12,000, $15,000, get a free second opinion from Fix It 24/7. Maybe they hit you with a big time repair bill, like $3,000 or $4,000 to fix a blower mower. Get a free second opinion from Fix It 24/7. George and the gang at Fix It do it all. They do air conditioning. They do electric. They do, of course, furnaces. They do plumbing. They do drain cleaning. These guys do it all, and they give free second opinions. I've seen water heaters from one company, $1,500, from a different company, $6,000. You have to get a second opinion. These guys don't charge a trip charge or anything. Free second opinions. FixMyHome.com. FixMyHome.com.
I just had a thought about Brian Burns using our car. So it might actually be a favor to us. We're having our driveway redone. If not, it's just going to be sitting in the cul-de-sac while we're out of town.
Well, my car. He wants my car.
Understood.
Mine would just be in our garage.
He's got to get it out. My only point is, as of next Monday, we have no driveway to drive cars up and down.
Yeah.
So if we took the X to the airport and then you parked your Model S out there, it's going to be sitting in that cul-de-sac while we're gone for 4 days. So we got to just figure, I'm just...
Or when we get back.
Yeah, that's true.
It's really up to him. I don't care if he uses it, though.
My only point is I started thinking about our driveway being redone and us being out of town. We're going to have a car sitting in the drive or in the cul-de-sac for 4 days, exposed to whatever. The bears.
Where are you guys off to?
We're going to... We're
Whirlwind.
flying out on the 4th. My mom is having a 4th of July party on the 5th. So
Nice.
we're flying to Atlanta, then we fly home Friday. So we go Friday, we fly home Sunday, then we're hopping on a flight to go to Shadron because Miles is.
We won't even leave DIA.
Yeah, and Mark wants to be there when he closes.
That's a cool moment.
We take this puddle jumper. It's going to freak her out.
Yeah,
it is the tiniest, craziest plane.
Yeah.
In their safety record, I looked up. Never look up an airline safety record. Don't do it.
Okay, don't do that.
I won't.
I'm like, I don't even know. Like, it's just the 8-seater plane.
And it flies only it's crazy because, first of all, the whole trip's 50 minutes.
Yeah.
But if we drove it, it's 5.5 hours.
I'm well familiar with that drive. I do it all the time.
It's like 4.5 hours.
4.5?
And I love road trips. He does not.
Well, I'm the one driving.
Yeah.
Or the car is.
You're the passenger princess.
But here's the deal. You only fly like 100 yards off the damn ground the whole time. You don't. It's not like a regular plane where you get above the clouds.
Yeah. No, I used to do some marketing events for a guy that he was a pilot and had his own plane, so he would fly me to like the shows. And it was one of those little planes that you were talking about. Yeah. You feel every bump. You're going to do great. I believe in you.
Ooh. Yeah, it's so fast, too. It really...
Yeah.
The weirdest part to me was taking off at DIA in that plane, because you're sandwiched in between mega 747s, and you're in this little tiny thing that literally could roll under them with no problem.
Why are you flying out of DIA instead of...
That's where they fly out.
And what's comforting to me, Brooke, is Mark's already been in a plane crash in his life. Oh. So the chances of somebody being in 2 plane crashes are pretty slim.
Yeah, that's
like my only comfort as I'm screaming inside.
Okay, so that's another story. What is this plane crash story?
It was in a Bonanza. We were coming from California.
His folks had a plane.
Yeah, it was my dad's plane. We were coming from Arizona, and we were gassing up in Albuquerque. And basically, it was a brand new plane to him. He had other planes. And it had RG, which is retractable gear. The wheels go up and down.
Yeah.
And every plane we owned before that didn't have RG. So long story short, he forgot to put the
He didn't know his wheels were down.
And we bellied up straight down the It was crazy. We came to his
405-3300. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Auto accident? Find out what your case is worth. Call Fuller.com.
All right, 303-713-8255. Hey, I was talking to Brooke on solar, and I want you to hang on there. Who's on the line? John, please hang on. He's got an issue with a contractor. We're going to help you out, period. No matter what we got to do, we're going to help you out. But, Brooke, I want you to explain with the grants and how they work, how someone can get a commercial solar system for free. And then I'm going to put you on the spot. I want a real world example of a caller that's taken advantage of it, that's got the entire system paid for with tax credits and grants. So go ahead.
Yeah. So in order to, the federal grants are gone right now.
Okay.
So the state grant is still there, which is a microgrid grant, or it's based on how well you have like community input into what that solar system's going to benefit. That's what you have to do to qualify.
So give an idea of what that would be, one of the ones you've done.
Yeah, so like I said, one of the folks that we're talking to is a VFW, and so that's a Veterans Foreign Wars area for them to hang out in. So that's obviously got some community benefit to it.
So, okay, I see. The community benefit is exactly that, a community benefit.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a big apartment complex, could the community be the tenants or no?
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yep.
Okay.
So if the landlord said,
I'm going to give it benefits somebody other than just you.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And so with that grant, it's a matching grant, which is really cool. So what that means is as deposits are required, the state actually pays money into those deposits at the same time.
Like what?
Instead of having to do a reimbursement, which was what the REAP grant was.
Oh, where you would spend your own money, then you'd get the money back.
Exactly.
So on this one, so it's a 50-50 deal? In other words, if I put in 1,000, they're putting in 1,000?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
20,000, 20,000?
Exactly.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very cool.
So really, that helps your cash flow, too.
Oh, it's a huge benefit. The way that they're doing it and the way that they're administering it. Yep, absolutely.
So let's take the VFW for an example. How much do you think that system would be done? Gross.
For that specific system, it's right around 100,000, which is kind of nice for the example you're asking about.
Yeah, so 100,000. What do you think they're going to end up out of pocket when it's all said and done with tax credits and the state grant?
Yeah, absolutely. So the VFW gets some additional benefits because it is helping that specific demographic. So they have $70,000 of that project is covered by tax benefits.
70 out of 100,000, 70 are covered.
Yep. And then that project's small, so they're not getting half covered by the grant, only 25% covered by the grant. So of a $100,000 project, they're going to pay $5,000 of it.
And if someone did have a large apartment complex, like we're looking at over here or something out there, and let's say 100 units, and they wanted to build a system that would generate power for their 100 tenants, that's a big system.
Yep.
So that kind of system, I'm totally making numbers up, but let's say it's $1 million. How much could they possibly get covered, tax credits, grants, on $1 million system like that in the right area?
Yeah, so if they're benefiting low income, then they can actually make 25% of the project. So again, if the project...
No, wait a minute. So if they're taking Section 8 or whatever Section 8 is now, or wherever they live, what it is, any kind of assistance, if they're taking people like that, they could get not only the entire system paid for, but put 25% of the value in their pocket?
Yep, absolutely.
That seems so crazy to me.
Yep, if it's not a...
Would the same go for a little fourplex if the landlord's taking assistance?
No, because the fourplex doesn't qualify for as much of the grant. So the system has to be a certain size to get 50%.
Got it.
If it's too small, then it's just 25%, which is still great. I mean, 25% of a project, that's somebody else's money.
Well, if you think of a fourplex, because now going forward, you're selling energy to your tenants instead of them paying Excel or whomever it is. So you might only get 70% of it paid for, which is funny to say that, only 70%. But you can charge electricity going forward on that fourplex.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when you sell the building, the equity built in it because you got a solar system and you're an electric company to whoever buys it for the tenants.
Yeah. So the lowest amount, if they qualify for the grant that they'll pay, again, on a $100,000 project would be $16,000 of that $100,000.
That's incredible.
That's it.
And then they're the power company.
And that's
though.
your worst case scenario. It only goes up from there.
What's the one up in the Cripple Creek you're dealing with? They had a bunch of land. Cripple Creek's unique because it's up in the mountains and they don't have enough power off the grid. So those people, I realize they're leasing it out and there's other stuff, but let's just talk about solar system. Will most of that system be paid for 100%?
If they receive the grant, which that grant application has already gone through, then they're going to make $2.2 million off of doing the project.
That's incredible.
And then also...
And that's the landowners.
That's just making it from building it, not talking about their income from the production.
It's absolutely incredible. Listen, she's going to answer all the questions. Brooke has been on this show so many times. We have so many listeners when it comes to commercial systems and residential people out there. Listen, if that company you dealt with 10 years ago is gone and your solar system isn't working, they can fix it. In fact, if the panels or a part of it is still under warranty, they'll get the manufacturer to warranty the part and you'll just pay some of the labor. Then on top of that, if you want to add a battery backup to an existing system or an off-grid system that might have a generator tied to it, they do it all and you do it all in-house.
Yep, absolutely.
So the people, everybody works for you.
Yeah, the only people that don't work in-house is if it's a generator, the plumber to connect it.
Yeah, of course.
Everything else, yep, done in-house.
Yeah, the electrical part. You know what's, the plumber. So you're talking just the gas.
Yep.
So you guys even have your own electricians.
100%.
Unbelievable. That's it. It's Red Rocks RS as in roofandsolar.com. You got to check them out. RedRocksRS.com. Any questions you have, any repairs, residential systems, tax credit, commercial systems, you get the idea. It's worth the phone call if you have the property. If you have the property to build a solar array out there, I'm telling you, you might not only get it for free, but you might get paid to own it. The problem is people go, oh, that's too good to be true. I'm not kidding. People really think that. Are these right? Was there a Red Rock CMG? Correct.
It's either that or they're like, oh, I heard it's free. And I'm like, well, no, you have to pay money.
Send me the CMG I did before
and get reimbursed.
And this one, if possible.
That one's the most common.
If only if it was after 12 o'clock. Only if it was in your time.
I started doing core workouts.
It hurts, doesn't it?
You guys do your yoga, right?
I run, I sculpt, I do.
I got an email. It's absolutely crazy, and I don't mind sharing this. I'm an open guy, but it basically says, hey, Mark, you yell a lot. I don't quite like listening to you all the time. It's a little intense. Okay, I can agree with that. But he goes on to say, the people you tell us to use or to call are unbelievable. This guy is CMG. He called up CMG Mortgage. I told you, these guys are the lender. Don't go through these other people. He actually had a quote, I'll call it that, for a new house purchase through someone you've heard their advertising on. I guarantee you've heard it. There's no doubt about it. You've heard it a million times. He beat the hell out of it. He's going to save them so much money, it's crazy. So, Jeff, even if you can't stand me yelling every day, I understand, but I appreciate you using John Clace at CMG, and I really do appreciate the email. And for people out there, whether it's a reverse mortgage, maybe you need cash out to pay that high credit card debt, it doesn't matter what it's for. Or they're all in one loan. They're the only one that does it. It's a 30-year line of credit on the equity in your house. You can use anytime, pay back. Interest rates are great. You got to call these guys. They're going to beat the heck out of all the competition. They loan out over $2 billion with a B dollars every month. They're not a middleman. When it goes to underwriting, that's the office next door to John. You ready? I want you to call John at 303-882-6678. You need the money fast? 303-882-6679. CMG Mortgage, John Clace. And you can also check him out at partnerinlending.com. Now, I want to tell you about Denver Regen. These guys, if you suffer from neuropathy, maybe due to, of course, well, really, I always want to get into, how do I put this? Because I want people that suffer from neuropathy that don't just suffer from diabetes but have other issues to really pay attention. Basically what happens is your nerves die and your foot starts hurting, it tingles, and it gets worse and worse, and generally it'll never get better. They have a stem cell therapy now. Regardless of why you have neuropathy, they can have that blood flow open back up with the stem cells and the other stuff they use. We have people 2-3 months after the treatment, and by the way, the treatment's only like 3 hours one time. But listen to this, 2 or 3 months down the road, 100% blood flow, no pain, fixed. Think about that. If you've suffered with the pain of neuropathy, especially in your feet, I want you to reach out, talk to the doctors at Denver Regen. The quickest way to get there, to get to the phone number, is denverregen.com. These guys are great. I've been on their weight loss program for 6 months. I've dropped 40 pounds. I believe in everything they do for listeners. denverregen.com. And fire off Red Rocks. Later, Gator. We didn't go too far, did we? Yeah, don't let the traffic commercial not play. I caught hell on that.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. Are we done? Yeah. I'm glad I got you in that last break.
You did.
Hey, John.
I pulled a Martino, people. I went too late.
Out of time a little bit, so what is a good number to reach you at?
I've learned from my mentor.
I hope you had fun, Annie.
I did. Didn't really get to chat too much.
48757.
She's still learning. She's new, so she doesn't know much about solar. Yeah.
How'd you guys meet up?
Well, actually, her fiance
now.
works for her.
You're getting married.
Oh,
do you have a date set?
No, it literally just happened this past weekend.
Oh, congratulations.
Where did he ask you? How'd that go?
It was up in the mountains.
Oh,
yeah.
Like indoors, outdoors?
Outdoors.
Was it what you expected or wanted?
Yeah, it was everything.
surprised?
I was very surprised.
Yeah. If scheduling allows, you should come again.
Okay, yeah, I would love it.
Yeah,
Absolutely. All right, thanks, guys. Thank you.
Sure, take care. Good to talk.
Later, Gator.
Nice to meet you.
All right,
Nice
thanks,
to meet
Kelly.
you.
You
See
got
ya.
everything filled?
I do. I will. Not right now.
At least you got a minute today.
For what?
Oh, to shut things down before the next act comes in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you are? Oh, do you walk every day?
Try as much as I can.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a nice person, unfortunately, and I will help him if he's on his own board. But if he's got a Shannon or a Zach,
You're peace out.
I am peace the hell out.
Good for you.
All right. What do I have? Nothing.
Not much.
All right, Chicky, see you tomorrow. Don't know really what Tommy's situation will be.
Okay.
But Mark and I will be in studio with the guests for sure.
Okay.
Who is it?
Sounds good.
Shemansky and Matt. Okay, see you, girl. Have a nice walk.
You too.
That's what they call me. Mind if I get a selfie? Yeah, sure thing. Save no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's eager. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet.
You're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get
In your underwear. A wave of new wealth awaits you with honest answers on how to make real estate investments the smart way, fully managed, safe, and secure. Find out more on the Vestera Turnkey Show, Saturday mornings at 8 on Talk Radio 630 KHOW.
We've become so much more than a fixed frequency from a radio tower.
Take your radio with you.
630 KHOW is now available on multiple platforms and thousands of devices. Listen to Denver's talk station from anywhere.
A stream online
at KHOW.com. Your station for Michael Brown, Tom Martino, Ryan Shuley, and Dan Kaplis is Denver's talk station, 630 KHOW.
KRFX HD2 Denver.
KHOW Denver, an iHeart radio station. Make us the number